On a D8.
Yeah. Welcome back. We're back, everybody.
Yeah.
It's 5-5.
We're going to jump in.
Sorry.
No, you're right. To chapter 4. Before we do, Jordan has an announcement, I guess?
Oh, yeah, just if you're in chat and you're new, there's some good ways to get caught up on what's happened. There's a couple quick YouTube recaps that are on our YouTube thing down in the thing below, and there's also some Moobot commands. If you do command recap, I think you'll get nice little word summaries of everything, and also you can examine... Yeah, lots of work went into that. And also you can command each of our characters. You'll see their name titles after combat. And it'll give you our stat cards and stuff. So if that ever interests you, it's there.
Anybody else?
Awesome.
Any other things I don't know about? All right, let's jump into it. We've got a little recap, and then we'll dive right back into battle where we left off last time. In chapter 3, Rare Books and Suspicious Looks, we opened Willard's pack to find considerably less than the man had promised. After some deliberation about what to do with the man's personal effects, we made our way back to the main road, where the fleet of the Broken Crown had stepped up security measures due to Ankeg spottings in the area. While prodding Willard for additional information, we got an idea of the extent of his debt to the Gentle Void. And though the mystery of what was hidden in the private journal was tempting to dig into, especially for Graven, we took pity and sent him on his way without further interference. Moving away from the blockade, Lieutenant Colonel Massif of the Broken Crown sought an audience with Safira, but having swapped cloaks with Erland, she avoided his company. Erland spoke to Lieutenant Colonel in her stead, and Massif urged him to have Safira report to their command offices in Erland. Having reached the city proper, we took the time to sell some spare items for a bit of much-needed coin before visiting the library near Chupa Hall. With the administrator away on business, tending to a disturbance in the district of Brickrock, we had no choice but to retreat to the Dancing Clan. Though her name was listed in the inn's ledger, Jillian was nowhere to be found, and it seemed we'd stalled out on our mission before the mysterious Robert Bastille confided in us as a frequent business partner of Jillian's. He could not point us to her whereabouts, but claimed she was due to arrive within the next couple of days, having determined our affiliation to be sufficiently authentic, further bestowed upon us complimentary room keys and a pass to the inn's less reputable basement underbelly. Before we could make a play for the basement, we answered a sudden call for help in the Brickrock Grotto, where Administrator Foussard was overseeing an outbreak of dangerous creatures. Seizing the opportunity, Erland offered aid in exchange for a library proof of esteem, which Foussard begrudgingly agreed to. As the structured confines of the grotto turned to precarious tunnels, Graven and Orba used light and thaumaturgy to draw out their suspected foe, an Ankeg lurking in the shadows. Though Safira had a clear shot, her arrow did not find its prey, and with a menacing hiss, the Ankeg turned to fight us. What was the cause of this sudden influx of monsters? Would obtaining the proof of esteem give us access to the book we've been chasing? And how long would Jillian keep us waiting in Erland? We find out now in Chapter 4 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
Nice.
Sorry.
Oh,
that sounds better.
We had our own
what you
bum
were
bum
going
bum.
for.
I was about to start beatboxing that, but figured we'll let it ride.
So as the arrow loosed from Safira's bow, narrowly goes wide of the Ankeg and sticks into the soft earth behind it. It begins a series of hissing and clicking noises as it drives one of its spined front legs into the ground. It's like as it sort of moves forward. So first up, in the round of combat, Graven, what are you doing? And you're here. You can't see it out there.
Okay. Keeping an eye on the beast on my left here, I turn to Orba, and I reach out my hands, and I cast Shield of Faith.
what's that?
A shimmering field. As my hands begin to glow as I reach out, and just this egg-shaped light kind of comes out and surrounds you. It surrounds.
That's it. It's just an egg-shaped light.
Yeah, it's just an egg-shaped light.
It's just an orb for
Just
Orba.
draws
Yeah.
attention to everybody.
And it's going to grant you a +2 bonus to your armor
Amazing.
class for the duration of about 10 minutes. Up to 10 minutes.
Right. So shimmering light kind of appears. It has kind of a. You can reach out and touch it. And sort of. It's like a sort of an elastic feeling to it. So if something tries to hit you, it kind of slows the incoming missiles.
Orba takes a look and goes, awesome! Did not.
You have movement as well.
Okay, now, so that's, I'm pretty much done except for I
Just
can
action,
move out of
yep.
the way, yeah. I guess I'll just kind of move
Oh.
forward to the left a little bit to kind of open up.
Coming up here?
Yeah.
How far do you want to go?
Maybe just like to there.
To here?
Yeah.
Great.
Can I go to the left?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, nobody die.
Yeah.
Graven comes striding forward, kind of keeping an eye on the Ankeg as it's sort of hissing and clicking. As it kind of. And you're standing there, standing path.
Oh, yeah.
Here, great.
Am I out of things to do?
Yeah.
I think I can do
Sorry.
anything else. Yeah. I keep my eyes on it. Yeah.
Great. Okay, next up, the Elven Archer. Okay, so the sort of she silently kind of is going to move forward a couple steps, and she's going to take an arrow out and fire it away. And let's see here. It's going to be a 15 to hit, which hits. So she
Yes,
takes the arrow,
great.
Good
fires,
job.
and it kind of the Ankeg tries to sort of skitter to the side, but it kind of sticks into one of its large sort of legs, and it's going to do. She does 8 damage. Sort of takes a fire and it really sticks in there, and it kind of the Ankeg has to pull its leg kind of out of the ground as it sticks in there. Let me just update. Great, and she's going to stay put there. So who's next? The Ankeg. Okay.
Ooh.
So after sort of getting the arrow caught in its leg, it kind of hisses and makes a few noises, and it's going to move up a couple steps here. And it's going to, it rears back and it kind of opens its mouth and a bunch of acid sprays out the front of its mouth.
God.
And it sprays in a 1, 2, 3. So Orba, I'm just gonna move up one more. Orba and Safira need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Well, she has that orb around her. Does that make any difference?
No, because this is a saving throw. That would be for a physical attack.
God.
15.
15?
20.
20. You both succeed. So the acid kind of
Yes.
sprays forward, and the two of you dodge, and a little bit of it gets on you, a little flecks of the acid, and you're going to take half damage.
Oh.
5. And so each of you take 4 acid damage.
Can I use shield?
I think, is that an attack roll? What is the...
Good question.
I think it imposes...
New spell. Where is it? Where did I put it?
I have a skeleton.
Where did it go? Here it is. Visible barrier magic force appears to protect you until the start of your next turn. Yeah, it's an AC.
It's
All right.
AC, yeah. So it does it. So it's not for spells, yeah.
I have a. I'd like to cast Absorb Elements.
Do it. Read it out for us. So we know.
So this spell captures some of the incoming energy, lessening its effects on you and storing it for your next melee attack.
Great.
So I can attack it with its own acid.
Great, so the acid sprays and you kind of hold up it's a scimitar that you're holding, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And you cast the spell around the scimitar and it absorbs some of the acid energy coming in. You take half damage of what I told you, so
So
only 2 damage, yep. And your next melee attack has an extra 2 damage, I think. I think that's what it says. However much you absorb. Or does it just add, the end of the spell again?
Yeah.
How much does it add to your next attack?
When you cast a spell, the extra damage increases by 1d6 for each slot level above first.
Oh, great. Okay, that's for higher level spells. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Great. So, and then the Ankeg is going to skitter forward a couple more.
Oh, let's do
Kind
this.
of, and it's going to end its turn there. All right. Orba, you're up.
Okay.
Orba kind of shakes off a little bit of the acid as it's
A little
singes
bit
her
of
robe a
the
little bit.
acid. Great. I'm going to. Okay, I'm gonna grab onto my crystal and I'm gonna point my hand toward the Ankeg and feel the cold air around my fingertips and cast Chill Touch toward the Ankeg.
Great. Sort of swirling frost energy.
Hit it. hit it.
Maybe not.
It's a 9.
9 total. 9
9
misses. So the swirling energy, after sort of taking the hit from the acid, you're sort of stumbling back a little bit, and the hits the ceiling. A few frosty pieces fall to the ground.
Okay, Orba, shaking, kind of stumbles back toward where Erland is. Erland?
Sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want to go back further?
Yep.
You can go here. Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna quietly.
She sort of crouches down in the it kind of slants down and she gets low beneath the...
Yes, very small. Very small. Okay,
Great.
that's it.
Erland.
Alright, how far away is that guy from me? Can I have a
He's
point
only
again?
Yes.
5. He's only 30 feet from you right now.
It's 30 feet from me?
Yeah.
Alright.
Or 25 feet, actually.
I'm going to shelter Orba, run past her, push past Safira, and go right up to the guy and just go for like big baseball swing right at its
Sort of
right at
running.
its scorpion face.
Roll for it.
15 to hit.
15 hits. Roll for damage.
Yeah.
D6 guy. 6.
6, great. So you get a crack and one of the legs that's sunk into the ground, it kind of like bends in a little bit as it sort of hits the side of it. Takes 6 damage.
All right, let's play with some key points.
All right. Got a crit.
I'm gonna use Step of the Wind and use a key point to disengage.
Great.
And how much movement do I have left?
You've got, what do you have, 40 total?
I have 40 total. Correct.
So 15 more, so 3 squares more.
3 squares more. I am going to move. I can move. Do I like go around him? Like I want.
You'd have to go, no, you can go through him because he's larger than he's not taking up the entirety of the space.
Great. So I'm gonna go like 1, 2, 3. You know, like,
These would be 1, 2.
Okay.
You still have to go through.
I'm just
his
okay.
space.
Great. Then I'm just gonna go to the other side of it.
Great.
1,
1, 2, 3.
Actually, can I take a? No,
Sure.
whatever.
Where do you want to go?
Oh, great. I'm just gonna retreat back
Okay.
behind her
1,
then.
2, 3.
Yeah. It's like I have friends.
So
Why
you,
not?
so you were gonna go past him, now you're gonna go away.
Yeah, you're really good at fighting. I'm gonna hang out near
You're
you.
in front.
So Erland goes up, he makes the strike, and he sort of quickly retreats back without, the Ankeg can't even sort of get a reaction in as he sort of disengages and moves back quickly.
And that's it.
Great. Safira, you're up.
Okay. I am going to move up to it and try to strike it with my sickle.
Okay. She moves up, 10 feet of movement. She takes out the sort of, you can see the sickle's kind of dripping with acid as it kind of turns to
15.
15 hits. Roll for damage.
Three.
3.
I guess
And then
a +1, right, for the acid or something, or?
and then you get to roll another d6 and add that of acid damage.
Okay.
D6.
D6. This is D6.
Regular.
Yes. 4.
4. So how much total was that?
7.
7 total. Great. So you swing and the sort of acid-etched blade kind of burns some of the carapace away from the sort of outer shell of the Ankeg. He takes 7. Great. And he's sort of hissing and shaking off the acid. And he's looking a little hurt at this point, still sort of standing his ground, but sort of you can recognize sort of the big threat. He sort of got himself in more than he thought he could handle at the moment.
That's right.
Is that it? You moving? You're hanging out there. It would trigger an opportunity if you move away from him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna move away from
Okay,
him. I'm
great.
just gonna hang out.
Sort of stands
right
your ground
here.
there with her sort of blade out. Beezaura, you're up.
Alright, I'm gonna take out my flail. Go after this sucker. Is there a part of him that's weaker than the rest?
You don't know that offhand.
It's gonads.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna try to get him like.
I don't know if you have enough movement to get on the other side of him, if that's what you want.
No.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm just gonna like really just take the thing and like try to like dig it into one of like the like a not like I guess I don't know if it has any sides, but like
Sure,
some
yeah.
place that looks like
Yeah, because it kind of has like a hard carapace, so you can try to like jam it
yeah,
up
like
underneath.
on the sides.
Great, make it an attack roll. So she does like a running sort of flail
Like
out
in
kind
between
of.
his legs, because I'm so little, I'm like.
Great, so you try and like swing the flail up underneath the
Yeah,
carapace.
this is the right one, right?
20 hit.
21.
21 hits, roll for damage.
This one.
What does it say?
The 8, right?
Yeah, 1d8 plus 2.
Wow.
Oh, that's not 8. This is 8.
I always do that. 5.
5. Great. So you take a swing underneath and it sort of finds purchase underneath the carapace and it kind of sticks into it and you have to pull on the flail to yank it back out as there's sort of some ooze kind of dripping out from underneath. Some like black sort of looking blood in the sort of dim light that's happening in there. He takes 5 damage.
Psycho.
Oh, the coward guy's gonna get the killing
You can also use your action surge now if you want.
Was that another one?
You can take another attack, yeah.
Then I need a rest, right?
You'd have to rest before you can use that again, yeah.
I can't take a rest in the middle of battle.
No. That would be later. You can basically do it once per combat because you can't rest in the middle of combat.
So I'm sure we'll rest.
Yeah.
Why not?
Go for it.
It's oozing.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna like.
He sort of is struggling to stand up on his.
And then
back
I think
legs.
I'm gonna try to dig and slash like underneath them, but like drag.
Okay, kind of. You throw the flail in and drag it up underneath the sort of underside.
So really get them. I want
Really?
the
Are you gonna add that to the
I
dice
want
roll?
Write down
Really get
really got
I
it.
want the ooze on my face. That's how much I want the ooze out.
Wow. Bad.
Gotta get rid of
Roll
this
for your
stuff.
attack.
Oh. 7.
7 total.
Yeah.
Okay, so 7 misses. So you swing the thing and you try to drag it back, but it kind of perches itself up on its hind legs, so the flail drags underneath.
Darn it! I just wasted it. Sorry.
Microphone's on the table.
Yeah. Sorry.
Rage
Great.
in other ways.
We're gonna have to take a rest.
And Beezaura just starts to rest.
Sits down on the floor
I
in front
can't
of
with
it.
this guy.
All right, the coward is up.
Come on,
He's
coward.
sort of holding a small sword.
yourself.
He's gonna tiptoe forward.
Show me what you got.
And he's gonna come up, and he's gonna take his short sword, and he's gonna swing with both hands. Actually, he's holding a shield, so he swings with one hand. That misses 5 to hit, so that misses. So he takes a shaking swing, and he's sort of slow and kind of drops the sword, picks it back up, and takes a hack, but the Ankeg sort of jumps back out of the way. So he misses, and he's going to, in his frightened state, attempt to flee
buddy.
as well, and the Ankeg is going to take that
no.
opportunity to go attack at him with his opportunity attack.
That guy?
The coward guy, yeah, who just frightened
The
him.
coward.
Friend. It misses, so the coward, in his frightened state, does manage to summon up enough sort of speed and strength that the Ankeg reaches out and can't get him on sort of the way out. Great.
Get back in your corner.
So that was a coward. So, as the sort of the din of the battle is rumbling, you hear sort of some low moans and the clattering of bones as a number of restless undead have sort of heard the commotion and are joining the battle.
What?
A couple
You made me waste my
A
thing.
number of them.
skeletons.
Oh.
That's a fucking army.
That's too many.
And
That just won't
coming
do.
out of the shadows, one of the skeletons even was unseen. He's going to take a shot, and he's shooting at the Ankeg. So they sort of aren't aligned necessarily with the Ankeg.
Oh.
Okay.
They just they heard all the
Friends.
commotion.
Maybe.
So the skeleton's going to take a...
So maybe they're good. Maybe they're nice to us.
Maybe. Stay away from them for now.
So one of the skeletons sort of rattles and takes sort of a shrunken arrow and shoots it at the Ankeg. 16 hits. So he sort of shoots the arrow, and this sort of crooked arrow kind of through the air and finds its way to the Ankeg. And he's going to do 4 damage. So the arrow sticks in. And the Ankeg now sort of seeing both in front of him and behind, he's kind of reeling and really sort of, you can see when he takes a step, the legs are kind of shaking and he can't really hold himself up. And okay, so initiative for the skeletons.
Oh, are you capable?
We can remember, I don't think you
Oh,
can.
okay.
So
Alright,
the skeletons
I'll write it.
are after the Ankeg. And then 5. After Erland is these 2 zombies over here. So 2 skeletons after the Ankeg.
Okay.
And then after they got a 5, so after Erland is the 2 zombie guys. Yep.
2 zombies after Erland. Okay.
Wow.
It's going so
We
well.
gotta beat this thing.
All right.
All right, we're back to the top, Graven.
All right. I take a few long strides in this direction, maybe to like here,
Okay.
and I
25
shout to these guys, encircle it, we'll confuse it. And as I take my strides, I like start to light a little bit of fire in my hand and get its attention, and then sacred flame right at its side or face if it's actually paying attention.
It kind of follows you as the light goes by.
Yeah.
With the light in your hand, it kind of.
And 17.
17 hits. Roll for damage.
Yes. All right. Right. Yeah. 1d8 radiant. Ooh, 2.
That was Sacred Flame.
Yeah, sacred flame.
I don't think that's an attack roll.
Oh.
It's a saving throw, I think.
Flame-like radiance. Target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw
Yeah,
or take
so
1d8.
it's not an attack roll. Yeah. So what's
Oh.
what's your DC save? That we looked at that before. It's okay.
12.
12. Great. So he has to succeed 12 or higher. So
Okay.
the flame kind of lights out from the hand, and he got an 11. So he fails. So he fails the check,
Oh, thank God. Okay.
and then he takes 1d8 radiant damage after failing the check.
Okay, now we'll roll that. 5.
Great, 5 damage. So the light kind of expands, and failing to sort of in this confused state, the light just kind of envelops him, and he takes sort of a flush of flame over the front side of his face and sort of protruding parts of his face. And it's fine. And he's looking pretty rough. He's got like a singed sort of front mouth and claws that are sticking out, and his legs are kind of creaking as he's stumbling backwards, but he's still alive.
Finish him off, archer lady. That's it. That's it for me.
Great.
I'm done.
Graven's done. Okay, Archer next. So she sees the undead kind of coming, and she's calling out, and she's like, "Look out for the undead! Look out!" And she is gonna fire an arrow at this zombie. Or something.
We don't know if they're not. We
And
don't
fire
know.
an arrow.
It's too late.
She panicked.
They're probably bad guys.
She's gonna shoot.
I think we needed to vet these people.
Critical hit from the archer. So she takes in her sort of rage at these undead creatures that are scaring her. She managed to pierce it right in the middle of the face, and she's going
Save
to
that for the
deal
kick.
Yeah, right.
Shot wasted.
10 damage to the zombie. Right, so it sticks in as the zombie sort of was lurching forward. It kind of has to take a second as it was sort of stunned by the force of the impact of the arrow.
This one right behind
This
me?
one here,
Yay.
yes, was the agent.
Yay.
And she's done. Ankh. Okay, so it's sort of reeling, and it's going to make 2 attacks. It's going to do a little.
Oh, great.
Wait, can I make 2 attacks? No, it's going to make 1 attack here
That's right.
against Beezaura.
I knew it.
That's possible. It's the best case.
So it sort of lashes out at you with a couple of pincers.
Maybe I'll scare him.
Growl back.
Scream back at him.
22 to hit.
That's a good roll.
Suspense.
22 hits.
22 hits. So it's going to do.
It's alright. It's alright.
So it reaches and it clamps around you. It does 9 piercing slashing damage. And it sort of rips away, and as it does, it kind of takes a little bit of skin with it as it has sort of grabbed onto your arm there.
Take 9 off of that.
And in addition to that, you are also now grappled. So it has it in its talons, and it's got you sort of restrained after sort of ripping the initial part off of the arm. So you're, we'll remember that you're grappled. I have a thing for it, but so it's got you sort of in its talons. So in order to escape, you'll have to make a roll to try and escape. Or if somebody kills it before your turn, then you won't need to escape.
Someone get this guy! He's literally eating me!
And that's the Oncake's turn. After the Oncake was the skeletons? Was that
2
correct?
skeletons, yes.
2 skeletons, great. So the first skeleton, seeing Graven kind of rush forward with this light, and the undead kind of averse to the light and sort of divine nature of it. This skeleton is going to move forward.
Done.
And
Use
it's
that shield.
gonna do oh, no, wrong one. Yeah, it's gonna attack with its short sword, so it sort of crumbles. You can hear the bones kind of as it's knocking forward. And it's gonna make an attack with the short sword. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
16 hits?
If it's right at 16.
Yeah, if it's right at 16. And did you want to use any of the...
Yeah, I'll use my Stone's Endurance.
Correct.
I
Just
can use
read
my
that to me.
reaction roll, a d12, which I think is this guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Constitution modifier to the number rolled, reduce the damage by that total. Do I do this before you?
I can tell you. So he did 8 damage.
Oh, okay, and then I roll more than 11. So
So it reduces it completely.
Yeah.
Great. So you sort of, as the hit comes in, you sort of flex, and the stone kind of in the skin hardens, and it sort of clinks off of the side, and then it sort of fades away, and you return back to your normal state.
you are like the buzzing of flies to me.
Great. So that skeleton's done, and this skeleton is going to make its way towards Safira, and it's going to take a swing at her. 17 to hit. 17 hits. Okay, so 3 piercing damage. Yeah, 3 piercing damage. So it takes a swipe, and you sort of manage to jump away for the brunt of the blow, but it sort of catches you on the way out, and you take 3 damage. Orba, that's you.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
think
me.
that's way over there.
I'm way back, baby. All right. Orba's gonna be puking in the corner until she can finally lift her hand, shaking, and she's gonna feel for the cold air once again and try to cast Chilling Touch at the Anke.
At the Anke, great.
Okay.
So she
Where are
pops out and sort of little blast.
20.
Critical hit. Critical hit. Roll for damage.
Okay. What do I do? Okay.
I think that's
She'll
one of our
touch
first
1d8.
ones.
I think that might
Oh,
Good
no, I'm
idea.
sticking with these ones.
certainly in combat. I think.
Yeah.
That's a nat 1. Well, wait,
And
hold
you,
on.
You double the roll
So it's a 2.
plus.
Nothing.
That's it.
That's
so,
it.
So 2 damage. So she summons the strength, and you see
Oh
a
my
cold
God.
blast shoot out, but it kind of peters out near the end, and it manages to kind of peck at the Anke, and it sort of shakes off the ice on its foot, and it's still standing.
She goes back to vomiting, and that's
And
it.
she goes back, cowers in the corner. Great. And Erland.
Do I have to tell you what my additional move is before I attack with the quarterstaff, or do I decide after the quarterstaff attack?
What additional move? What do you mean?
Either an unarmed strike or any of my key.
No, a
things.
bonus action can be after your
Great.
attack. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna push between our 2 nameless friends.
Squeezes the coward's kind of like, oh, as you go
And
by.
I'm gonna go to the left of Beezaura, and I'm gonna swing over top,
Great.
trying to hit its head right into the
Get him!
Great.
All right.
And sort of still distracted by the
eating me.
frost on its leg.
Nat 20.
Hey!
Roll 20 hits, roll for damage.
What do I do anything cool with a?
You double, so you roll the same die.
For,
so what is it?
so I roll a d6 for
Yep,
my
and
damage.
double the roll.
Oh, come on, man. So I
You double the roll.
1
So 2
plus 2 damage
so
for
4
bludgeoning.
total. Yeah. So you double the dice and then add the number.
Okay, great. So 4 total.
4 total. Great. So you run forward and you manage to crack, and it kind of reels a little bit, and it looks like it's gonna gnash back out at you, but then it sort of loses its energy and it collapses.
Doesn't it still
into a
have me?
Now that
It's
it's
gonna.
dead, it does not still have.
Oh,
it. So he
great.
cracks it, and it sort of you can feel its jaws kind of loosen.
Thank you.
And you come tumbling out of the Anke's grip.
Can I? Because I still have additional movement. Can I use that movement and use my additional attack on
Yeah,
the?
I think, yep.
Great. So the
It doesn't
additional
say the
attack-
same target, right? For flurry of blows, is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about my unarmed strike. When I
No, just make one as a bonus action. Yeah. you're
great. So I'm gonna use how much more movement
So
do
you
I have?
had that was 20 feet of movement. So you have 20 more feet of movement.
Great. So I'm gonna move. I guess it's another 10 feet towards the skeleton immediately right there. Yeah. And I'm gonna let him just go for like a right jab right into the skeleton.
So
face.
after you crack the Ankeg and it collapses, he runs up and he's gonna punch the skeleton
Going
right.
right,
in its-
I like step on the ankeg, jumping over it, and
Right.
I'm gonna punch it in the face. Nah, what's a one called that? So 5. total?
Yeah, so it was you rolled a natural one.
Yeah.
So that's an automatic fail. You don't even add
Great.
that number to it.
Good.
So you go to punch the skeleton, and the skeleton kind of opens its mouth, and your hand kind of passes through and it scrapes against the skeleton's teeth as you go for the punch. Great.
The skeletons have already attacked, right?
In this round.
In
yes,
this
the
round?
skeletons are
Great.
attacking.
I'm gonna hang out there.
Great.
Okay.
Now it's the zombies,
Yes,
correct? Great.
it's the 2 zombies.
So the zombies, one of them with an arrow kind of sticking into its neck from the elven archer, they kind of lurch forward. And we're going to do this one first. He's going to come up to Graven.
Oh boy. Oh, someone help.
And now flanked on either side, it's going to make its attack with advantage.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a sort of, it holds its 2 hands up in a thing, and it's going to come and try and slam down on top of you. 11 to hit.
11 misses.
11 misses. So even though Graven's distracted, the zombie goes up to slam its hands down on you, and you catch it, and you whip your shield over the shoulder, and kind of hits back on the shield.
I like that.
Great. And then this guy's gonna
Follow the beast.
20. 1, 2,
Oh, boy.
3, 4. Just gets in range of Graven there. And it's gonna make another one. It's gonna swing its hands forward. Man, zombies are slow. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Or, yeah, 16 to hit.
16 does hit.
16. So after just glancing the shield off of the last one, the other one kind of sneaks up on you, lurching forward, and sort of boom, hits you on the back of the head. And it's going to do 5 bludgeoning damage.
Creature.
And you can hear the sort of lurching, and the skeletons now, seeing that the Ankeg has sort of been dispatched, they sort of redouble their efforts towards the remaining sort of living creatures. Safira, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to take my bow and strike at the one that just hit Graven.
This is the one that just said that
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sure.
12 plus 7 it hit. So
12,
yeah. So I
19.
couldn't do simple math for a second there.
19
It's
hits,
fine.
roll for damage.
Okay.
12 plus 7.
So you manage to thread the needle
Where's-
as you kind of,
which
it gets
one's 8?
over Graven's shoulder, sticks into the
No,
zombie.
that's a 10. You want
8 looks like a little
this
double
little
pyramid.
guy?
Yeah.
Double
I don't know
10.
why it's always so
Man, bad damage rolls.
5.
5 damage. Okay, so there, you thread the needle and it over Graven's shoulder, and it sticks in and staggers back a little bit. So, great. Okay. Anything else?
I can't. I don't think I can do anything else.
You can move. That's.
Yeah. I'm gonna run up to where Graven is.
You will trigger an opportunity attack
Okay.
Of that
from
one?
this guy if you move out of his range.
Let him try.
Okay.
I'm gonna go up there.
Great. Up here, further than that.
I want to get right next to the one
This
that's
one?
on his. Yeah.
Great.
Sorry. Interesting.
Great. So as you sort of, after you loose the arrow, you start to dart forward, and the skeleton reaches its short sword out at you. 13 to hit.
13 misses.
13 misses. So she skitters away, and the skeleton, and it's sort of just having. Erland just missed it with its fist, and it reaches out, but it can't catch you as it goes by.
Me.
Okay. Beezaura, you're up.
Thank
You sort of shake yourself loose from the clutches of the Ankeg.
Wipe the blood from my arm.
Wipe the blood off.
Alright. Okay. Are all 3 injured around him?
This
two.
skeleton is
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Yes. The 2 zombies are hurt, and I think this one is hurt as well.
Yeah.
No, it's not hurt. Yeah, that one. Yo, Erland tried and missed. Yeah. So the 2 skeletons are not hurt. The 2 zombies are hurt.
I was hoping
Okay.
they would forget that. It was
I
embarrassing.
think
I'll never forget that.
since there's already 2 of them over there, I'm gonna try to attack that single guy.
Sure.
He's single.
Maybe he'll meet me at the ball later.
I'll go hit that single guy.
I'm gonna hit on that.
Great.
Alright.
You
And
go
I'm
flying
gonna,
forward.
I'm gonna flail him.
Great. So you swing the flail around.
That's a zombie, right? Or
That's a skeleton.
Oh, I'm gonna crack his bones wide open.
Great. Make an attack roll.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Forget that.
8.
8 misses. So the flail goes, but you kind of swing wide, and the skeleton manages to slowly duck as the flail goes flying over its head.
Dumb.
He's still single.
I'd still take a pint or a porch.
Great. Anything else?
No.
Okay. The coward. He's going to.
Can I, as I see the coward behind
Yeah.
me, can I say, help the other two, friend. We've got this one.
And he goes. "Ah," and starts running, and he's gonna make his way back towards where you came.
Oh, you freaking coward.
And we'll go back to the top.
What did you just say to him?
I hope we find him on the way.
Erland, you're the worst at talking to people. We know this.
But I take my mace and I turn to the one that hit me there, the
This
far
one
left
here?
one there, yeah, and I just take a huge swing right at its head with my
Great.
mace.
Attack roll.
15.
15 hits. Roll for damage.
Thanks,
6.
Great. 6 damage. So the mace really sort of sticks, and some of the sort of rotting flesh sort of sprays off to the side, and you hit it down to the bone, and you can see kind of the cracked bone sticking out of its rib cage, and sort of feels the mace as it comes in.
That was the guy right in front of you?
To the left.
to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which 6 damage, you said?
6 total,
Yeah.
yeah. Pull my mace back out of its ribs and kind of just move a little bit farther away, like maybe 2 squares diagonally that way.
Okay. It's opportunity attacks for anyone that you go out.
No, you know what? I'm gonna stay right there.
Okay.
Yeah, just stare at them like.
Takes the hit, sort of brings the shield back up.
Yeah.
Great. So you're also now facing this one.
Okay.
So right now, this one would have to move to get the. You get advantage if you're attacking from behind and they're engaged with somebody else.
Perfect, yeah.
So right now they are not getting advantage on you
Yeah.
unless they move.
I've got eyes on them.
Great. The archer. So she's going to take another arrow out of her quiver and she's going to shoot sort of the same zombie that she hit before.
Come on, lady.
19 hits. Another arrow.
Join us.
And it hits kind of right where the other arrow was. It sort of Robin Hood arrow twine. Kind of. And she's going to stick in.
Good shot.
And it will be 1d8. Does 8 damage, so it sticks in there. And that.
Can she stay?
Yeah, I like her.
Do you know anything about a library?
And she sort of is still in her silent state. She still hasn't said anything, but she gives kind of a move forward thing, and she's going to take a couple steps forward.
That'd be interesting.
She cut out her tongue.
All right.
Skeletons,
Is it skeletons after the archer?
Yeah, I guess so, because the Ankang's
Yeah,
gone.
Ankang's dead. Great. So skeletons are just gonna. They're simple creatures. They attack the thing that last attacked them. So this one's gonna attack Beezaura.
Yeah.
Come on!
7. I'll take this. 11 to hit.
11 misses! Sorry.
Let me turn your
I
microphone.
forgot about the mic.
Great.
Aggressive.
So it takes a swipe forward, and you sort of bring the shield up and clangs off of it. Shake it off, no problem. And that skeleton, Safira attacked that skeleton, so it's going to attack Safira back. 19 to hit.
19 hits.
19 hits.
Dumb.
Oh.
You take 8 piercing damage
Okay, okay.
She's tied with me, I think.
as it slices across Safira's chest, and you get a little bit of blood on Erland's cloak that you've now borrowed is kind of covered, and it sprays off to the side. And that is the skeletons. Still standing there, Safira?
I'm still
Alright.
here, yeah.
Orba.
Okay. How far are the 3 little dudes from me? I can't, it's hard to see.
You're back there, aren't you?
Like 50 feet, 50, 55, depending on which one.
Okay.
50, 55, and 60. 50, 55, 60.
Okay. Okay. Orba's
Does
gonna.
that change the plan?
Okay.
Nope. I mean, yes, actually it does. Orba's. Okay, so who. Are all 3 wounded? Just remind me really quickly.
I
The
think
2.
all of them are.
I'm like audibly gasping in pain.
This,
No, not you.
The things.
actually, the 2 skeletons are not wounded. No.
All right.
The two
No, I hit the one. I hit
No, you
this
hit
one.
the zombie. That's a zombie. Both
Yeah, they look
skeletons
kind
have
of
not
similar.
been hit.
Because
Okay.
you missed, right?
Right.
I
I
missed.
mean,
There's a few misses.
There's quite a few misses in this battle, eh?
Okay, I'm gonna focus on the zombie nearest me.
This one?
No, the other one.
This one?
That one,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, to me as a person.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And Orba's gonna look up again and raise her stupid hand and cast Chill Touch
Okay.
toward that dude.
Confidence, delicate one.
Beezaura and Erland see a sort of stream of ice go over their heads as it kind of rays forward.
Nice.
That is a 24 to hit.
24
Yeah.
hits. Roll for damage.
Where to
What is the range on that?
It
that what
is.
you were
It's like
checking?
no. I was checking for another spell.
Oh,
It's
okay.
120
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
It's endless. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, that's a 4. 4 damage, and then it is undead, so it has disadvantage on attack rolls against me until.
Just you specifically?
Yes, just me.
So if he manages to meander his way over there.
Yeah.
Right.
She's being cautious. And it also can't regain hit points, but that's.
Oh, okay.
And, I guess feeling like she's not helping out enough, she's gonna step like 2 squares closer.
Okay.
She's gonna try. Make it one more step.
Beezaura can kind of hear the little pitter patter of the feet coming up behind.
But then she still just sits on the ground. Okay, I'm done.
Great. Erland.
All
Or
right.
when is zombies? After.
After
Okay.
Erland.
So I'm done nursing my skeleton hand, and I grab my quarterstaff again, and I'm gonna go right for the skeleton in front of me, going right for his knees. I'm
Great.
swinging at the knees.
You can see the sort of weak bones kind of clacking together.
Yeah. 20 to hit.
20 hits. Roll for damage.
7.
7 and what's the type of damage? Does
Bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning does double damage because of the weakness of the skeletons, the bones, and you hear the
14.
crack of the thing, and it just and goes into dust as the skeleton.
Oh, good job.
Nice.
That's 2 critical hits, or two kills, I'd like to point out. So now that guy's. How far away is the other skeleton to me? Can I get up behind that other skeleton guy?
10, 15, 20 feet.
20 feet? Yeah, so I'm gonna run 20 feet up behind that skeleton. And I'm gonna go like elbow right to the back of his skeleton head.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Just the one strike. The one
Yeah, so that's 20 to hit.
because
20
of
hits.
for a moment.
Not a natural 20. It's
No.
Yeah.
Where's my D4 at? Here it is. It's this one, right? Yeah.
It's a pyramid before, yeah.
Yeah.
And you take the top number, which is a 1.
1 plus 2. There's not like a nat 1 for D4s, right?
No, but not for
Right.
the damage.
So
roll.
1 plus 2 bludgeoning damage, so 3. Does that double again?
Yeah, so
6.
So 6 total damage. Great. So great. So you go up and you can hear the bones kind of collapse in on the backside. Actually, you would have had advantage on that attack, but you rolled a 20, so it was fine. Because he's facing Graven,
for the
yeah.
attack. Oh.
Just because he's flanked on,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
facing
right,
Graven.
right,
Yeah. Great. Yes. Big. You see a few bone shards kind of go flying off.
I think that's that's all I must do.
Okay, great. This zombie, having been taken 2 arrows from this
Oh, yeah.
elven lady, is going to go lurching towards her, and as it steps out of range of Graven, you get to
Yeah.
make a opportunity attack against the
My mace.
Mason.
Yeah. So watch it kind of
There's this
out
one.
of my side. Yeah. Swing around. 18 to hit.
18 hits. Roll for damage.
Beautiful. 5.
5. So you swing the mace
Nice.
as it's going by, and you hear the thud as it kind of hits the back, and it kind of goes to 2 knees and then falls forward on its face.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the other zombie, seeing you sort of turn and
Oh.
attack, that one is just going to lurch forward and go for the attack with its hands. against Graven. Natural 1, so it reaches forward and it sort of stumbles with some of the flesh peeling off of the leg, and it slips and swipe goes wide. And that's it. Safira?
Okay. I'm like really badly injured, and I'm like trying to like keep myself up.
And you've just seen like one go running by, and Graven hit it on the back, and
Yeah.
you saw Erland come up and crack one in the ribs.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna like throw out my sickle at the one that's nearest to me,
Yeah, that's the melee range.
which is
Great,
probably
you
a terrible
sickle.
idea because I'm about to die.
Ah.
Okay. Yeah. 21.
21 hits, roll for
I
damage.
can't do simple math, you guys. You're gonna find that more as we go on. Okay.
That guy's hurt.
D4.
Yes.
Which one's D4?
I
Pyramid.
think sickle's slashing though, so it won't double.
That's a.
Use the other one.
That's a 2. It's a different. It's a different
oh,
format.
I see.
That was
Okay.
straight.
Oh, is that
Okay.
It's
3.
different.
It's 3.
3 total damage? Great, so you get the sickle goes by and it kind of hits a couple, some of the bones go shattering to the side. It's still standing, but it looks pretty beat up.
Which one was that?
Okay. I'm not gonna disengage.
They're both hurt.
I'm
Great.
gonna stay.
You wanna stay?
I don't want to.
I think this
yeah.
is
Great.
this is good.
Okay.
Attacks.
Beezaura, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go after one of them.
Which one would you like? I don't know if you can reach. You have 30 or 25 movement speed?
I think 25.
Yeah, so you can only get to the skeleton. You couldn't be
Okay,
able
I'll
to
go
get
for the
to
skeleton.
Great. So she runs up,
Behind too.
sort of flail swinging as she's running,
I'm
and
gonna wind up and like really give it to him.
really give it to him.
Really give it to him.
We hope. He's not ready.
It's with advantage though, right? Because she's kind of behind.
It's facing.
It's facing me.
Saphira, yeah, it's not with advantage.
Oh, 9. 13.
13 hits.
Ooh,
Roll for
nice.
damage. And I think it's bludgeoning as well, the flail.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense.
What does it say? 8d8.
It's a D8,
I
yeah.
always
Double
pick the
pyramid.
wrong one. It's bludgeoning, so what's that mean?
Well, so what's the number? The die number
3?
plus the plus
5.
number 5, and then double it.
10.
10 damage. Yeah. So she goes running forward, and it sort of
Right through his
uppercuts,
ribs.
and the bones just go clattering around the.
Sternum is busted.
Way to go.
And one of the bones kind of pling hits off the ceiling of the tunnel. Great. And
Well, the coward has since left us.
Oh,
Yes,
is that
right.
do the zombies go now? Is that?
no, zombies went after Erland.
No, it's Graven.
So it's
Back
back
to me,
up to
right?
Graven. Yeah.
All right. So
Get him!
as it was looking over at the action over there, I bring my mace up into the air and just come down on its skull with a 10 to hit.
10 hits.
Oh, okay, good.
Zombies don't have a lot of defenses. They're kind of
Yeah.
shambling.
Good
The
lord.
skeletons had shields, so they were a little hardier.
Sick. Does the bludgeoning matter for me?
The zombies are not weak to bludgeoning.
Oh, okay.
That
All
was
right.
just
So
the skeletons.
6 total damage.
Great, 6 damage. Great. So you take the vines and thunk, you hear the thump again as the skin kind of caves in and it pushes you back. Still standing there,
Jeez.
facing you.
Oh yeah, I guess I turned around.
Yeah, it's fine. There's only one left, so. Great. Archer lady. Okay, so she's gonna
Come
take a
on.
couple steps so she has a clear
actually-
shot. What's up?
Oh, no skeletons. Never mind.
Yeah, skeletons are gone.
Continue.
Yeah,
Continue.
skeletons are dead
Go ahead,
too.
Archer.
So the archer takes one last shot. 4. She's gonna miss her first shot. I think.
Gotcha.
What is the plus? Yeah, 4, 8. Yeah, so she. Oh, wait. She hits.
No.
Zombies are low armor class. So the arrow sticks into it.
Oh, come on.
And
Come on.
5.
Come on.
Great. So it feels the arrow sticking in, and it pulls the arrow out and throws it to the side, and it's kind of wobbling back and forth, but it is still standing.
Oh boy.
And she's
Well,
going to
this
take a
is
couple
your
steps
chance.
back. And who's after her?
Me.
Orba. She's gonna point to her and then point to the zombie as if to say, finish her off.
Okay.
Come on, Orba.
Orba wipes the stick from her mouth, puts her hand up again.
Is the stick trapped in the egg?
Delicate one.
Yeah, it's just pulling
How long
out.
is
You're lucky that vomiting is a bonus action because you know.
She's doing a lot of it. Whatever breakfast was, it's gone now. I'm casting Chill Touch.
Great.
Come on, Orba.
19 to hit.
19 hits. Roll for damage.
5.
5 damage. So the frost ray goes shooting out and it goes towards, and it hits it, and you can see the sparkling kind of crick and crack. And Orba, would you like to show us how it's done?
Yeah.
Orba just watches the hand that she conjured right in front of his chest just sink fingers first, just right into his rib cage, and then just pull out whatever she can find in it, and then just throws it in his face.
Great, and it sort of crumbles to the ground, and he
We didn't die.
It's not this time.
Let me find.
Thank you, Archer Lady.
Yeah.
Let me just
Once we get,
Do we talk to her? Or,
once the music gets going.
second.
Erland walks over to the elven archer and
Sure.
says, "You fought valiantly, friend. What's your name?"
Thank you. My name is Mishan.
Mishan?
Mishan. M-I-apostrophe-S-H-A-N. Mishan.
Do you hail from Morin Chupa?
Yes. I do come to the defense of my city when it's called upon me. Are you going to continue through the caverns? Because, if you don't mind, I think I should report back and let them know what we've seen here.
Report to who?
Back at the front, Administrator Froussard, whoever's in charge there.
Yes.
And there is more to the cavern, so if you guys continue to explore.
You don't want to come with us.
I think I've expended most of my arrows, and she holds up her quiver, and there's like one arrow kind of rattling around in there. She's like, I'm not sure I'd be much of help. But you fought very bravely.
You as well. If we should ever need to find you, where should we look?
I live in the high streets in Oranchupa. I have a house there.
We have business with the administrator as well.
Yes.
Perhaps we could accompany you, actually.
If you'd like to come back, I didn't know if there was more in the tunnel. You seemed like you were hardy explorers, but...
We should perhaps...
I'm just gonna collapse to my knees.
Sure.
And I'm gonna reach into my cloak and take out the healing potion and just start
Yep.
chugging it.
It's 2d4, I think.
Okay.
I think you heal for 2d4.
What was
What do I roll? This?
2 of those.
We
Okay.
just knew that there
2d4
was
plus
a
2
beast
is
to
how
Oh,
much.
we used to conquer the beast for the.
Yeah,
How does this
The
work?
bottom
No,
number
it's the
now.
top number.
No.
not the
No,
bottom.
not on
This
that
is
one.
This is one.
Yeah, that's what happened earlier, where we were
Let's
like,
not use that.
So you roll
Yeah.
2d4? Or?
Yeah,
Roll
2d4.
Oh, I roll it twice.
So 1.
there you go.
3 plus what?
Plus
is it?
2.
Plus 2? Okay. So 5.
6.
6.
6.
No
This
comment.
is gonna be
You drink the potion, and
a
then you
really
sort of feel
fun time.
resurgence in it.
It's like glance over at her sitting on the floor, like.
Oh.
Are you
Yeah.
sure you
I'm
don't
just
want to
gonna,
come for a
wipe
little
the
bit,
sweat.
Mishan?
Again, I'm not sure I'd be much of help. I think I would do better if we need reinforcements. I can tell them to send more men down here.
Yes, send more men. I think we should continue. If everyone's healthy, we should continue at least carefully looking through the tunnel.
Oh, yeah, I thought this was the whole. Yes.
Well, don't.
Very well.
We have a mission to complete.
We should see we've come all this way and fought for nothing?
The administrator sort of told you to find out what the source of these monsters was, like where they're
Okay.
coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
In
Yes,
order to
we
get into
we
the
will
library.
continue on, yes.
He
Or
said
about-
he'd give you the pass if you.
If we found this, if we assisted. So we should continue.
Yeah.
Orba limps up to the party, but on the high of having the killing blow is like, yeah, let's go find more shit.
Mishan, you going to the ball?
I am not. No. It's not really a place for me.
Alright.
I think she's about to ask you on a date.
And she sort of, with that, slings the quiver back over.
Send reinforcements, Mishan, if you can.
Yeah.
I will.
Tell the
Thank
administrator
you.
we'll see him soon.
Will do. And she takes off very quickly down the tunnel.
So how many paths are like before us?
This here, you can look at it's not up there in the thing, but it turns to the right and it sort of opens up this way. This is where you came from, sort of that.
Graven, provide us some light and perhaps we proceed.
I suppose, yes.
Let's not spend too much time though.
Wouldn't want to miss the ball, would we?
Don't you want to get your forsaken book?
We need to figure out what's happening down here first.
Oh yes.
If we're just going to be attacked again. Reach out for was that a skeleton that was the last thing there?
Oh, it's a zombie.
Oh, well, reach out and pick up the biggest femur from the
Sure.
things that we vanquished.
Take it out of that. A little bit of flesh slides off of it.
Yeah, and just light it up with my
Starts to glow.
with a cool orange glow.
With a cool orange glow.
Orba's
see the sort of
cautiously,
corpses.
like, kind of poking around where the Ankeg fell and his corpse, and
Sure, make an
see if there's
investigation check.
anything.
Yeah, see if you sort of find it.
12.
12. Okay. The first thing you notice near the Ankeg, the coward kind of took off. As he took off, he dropped a little pouch on the ground as he was sort of skittering away. And it has 1 gold and 5 silver in it, and an inn key with the number 14 on it. It looks similar to the keys that you have, so it might be to the same place. Your rooms were 5 and 6. His is 14.
How much gold?
1 gold, 5 silver, but that's not for everyone. So
Oh, that's
if you're-
just me so far, babe.
Yeah. We probably don't even see her.
Yeah, right now Orba, you see her kind of moving around, grabbing some of the stuff.
Okay.
And in the sort of closed hand of one of the zombies, you sort of pull the fingers apart, and there's a small pendant on a brass chain that you take. It seemed to be clutching it, sort of holding on to a vestige of its life.
Aw.
And it has a smiling mouth with sharp, jagged teeth on it, sort of on the pendant.
Okay.
And despite appearing smooth, like a metallic surface, it's kind of sticky to the touch. Like you have to sort of pry your fingers away from it a little bit.
Only
Okay.
she's finding this?
She's finding these right now, yeah. And with your sort of magical knowledge, it seems to have, you don't know what it does, but it seems to have some magical properties to it. It doesn't seem to just be a regular
Okay.
amulet.
Anything of import, Orba?
Yeah, you see her kind of rummaging around.
Just a couple things.
Like what?
Well, I found some money. I think that coward man who ran off must have dropped it because he skithered away. It's not much.
More useful than he was.
Recalling Beezaura paying for some of our inns like the previous night and a little bit of our other things.
I think she paid for the tent back at the blockade. Yeah.
I just tossed the whole thing to her and be like,
Little pouch.
all of us just paid you back.
Thank you.
It's 1
so you-
gold, 5 silver. Yeah.
There's also this peculiar necklace. Once we're out of the caves and I'm safe again, I can cast Detect Magic on it and see what kind of magical properties it has, but it looks very special.
Interesting.
Anything else?
No. And she starts stomping away.
There were skeletons and zombies.
She didn't mention the key.
They wouldn't have
Oh,
passed
there's
the
an
ball
inn
on
key,
them.
but it's just for
She
his
doesn't
room.
have
It's
to
right
mention
next to the thing.
Yeah, she doesn't have to.
Oh, he's staying with us then.
Well, not anymore. Mine now.
I'm gonna grab Graven and like pull myself up and like, you know,
Pulls herself up off the
get
ground.
myself ready to fight again. Ugh.
Graven?
Alright, here we go. I'll walk off
Great.
with the light.
So you start
on
to-
my arm
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. I'm still struggling a little.
You move a little further down, and you have the light held up, and you can see forward. And you sort of move around. It swings also around this way, and you move around the perimeter of this sort of earthen enclosure. And the light that you have reveals a spot in the wall where dirt and soil gives way to stone. And there's this sort of masonry cascading down from the wall. And a sizable hole has been punched through the stone wall. And a bit of steady, warm light streams in. Seems like it's coming from another room further into the left, not immediately in this sort of room that you see.
Is it a dead end otherwise?
Yeah, it seems to be a bit dead end. It kind of swings off this way, and then it sort of a little bit off to the right, a little bit off to the left. But no,
Yeah.
as far as you can tell with the light, there's no further ways to go.
Go ahead.
Can I walk up to the hole and just kind of like crouch down and see
Sure.
what's in there?
Sort of take a peek in, and it seems to be arranged as a kind of lecture hall or theater. It's no more than 30 by 30, this sort of room, and there's a number of wooden chairs strewn about, and at the far end of the room from where you're standing, there's like a stage area. It's raised a little bit, and there's a bench up at the front, so it looked like there was a bunch of chairs and then a sort of stage area.
Can any of us fit through it?
Oh, it's big enough. Yeah, you could definitely fit through it. Graven would be a little bit of squeeze, but you could get through. It's a sizable hole that was punched through the wall.
Should we go in and see?
I think we should.
Looks
Investigate.
like some kind of a lecture hall.
No one's is there anyone in there?
No,
Not
not
that
that,
you
I can see.
Well, let's be
Might
careful.
as well.
I'm just gonna hop in.
Okay, you hop in. Again, you're in this sort of lecture hall area, and
I mean, I follow her.
sure,
Yeah.
make your way in. Each of you kind of
Shut it.
sort of make your way over the stone. Graven
Yeah.
kind of jams his
I
way
give
through.
Graven a hand and
Yeah.
Can
pull
Orba
through.
stay outside of the hole?
She can, yeah.
Okay.
She remains sort of out. You watch the rest of them work their way in. And at the far end of this, whatever this room is, there's a little staircase that leads up to the stage area, and then behind is a wooden door that's slightly ajar, sort of leading into another area that you can't see through.
Are there any? You said there are a bunch of chairs, so it looks it's basically like an audience looking.
Yeah,
at
it looked like there was a number of rows of chairs. Some of them are knocked over at this point, but it's
Okay.
all facing the staging
But
area.
no like items of interest in the sort of fray of the
You can make
chairs.
an investigation check.
22.
22, okay. So aside from the chairs, there aren't any large objects of note, but through a thorough search, you sort of pick up one of the overturned chairs, and one of the splintered seat backs that had kind of broken against the floor reveals a small velvet pouch. And you open it up a little bit. It's mostly empty, but you reach inside and there seems to be a bit of fine purple dust that sparkles ever so slightly. It might be some kind of mineral dust of some kind. So you have a pouch of some kind of dust.
You look confused. What have you got there?
Does anyone recognize this purple dust?
Purple
I sort of
dust.
show the. So,
How do you? It doesn't seem to. It could be some kind of crushed mineral rock, something. It
Okay.
doesn't.
Is it like a dye? Is it like a?
No, it's like a sand. Like it feels like,
Like a-
sand or
oh.
powder.
Taste it.
Almost.
Orba pokes her head through the wall and goes, "What did he find?"
I say, does this look? It's something like I have a little bit of it.
Purple
It's
dust.
Like, does it look like anything to you, Tiefling?
You can make an Arcana check.
That is a 12.
12. You've seen some materials like this used in various spells that you've seen when you were younger, and it looks like it might be amethyst powder, which is a dust that's used for certain spells, certain ingredients for various potions or whatever. It wasn't a full pouch, but there is a little bit of dust left in the pouch.
It looks like some kind of spellcasting material, some amethyst dust.
Useless right now, but I'll hang on to this. I sort of put it into my cloak.
Think there's anything else in here?
There's still like candles burning? Does it seem like it was?
There's a light streaming in from the door. It's sort of
The door,
slightly
yeah,
ajar.
okay.
Yeah, in the room that you're in, the only light source is if you're still holding the
Yeah.
the
Okay. Can
bell.
I inch over to the door and just try to put my ear to the?
Yeah, sure.
To
And you
see if I
walk
hear
by
anything.
up on the staging area. There's that bench, and as you walk by it, it sort of has a number of stains on it, blue and black, maybe a dried ink of some kind. It doesn't look like blood necessarily, or some kind of fluid maybe that's spilled there. And you look into the door, and you see a thin hallway with a pair of oil lamps that are staggered, so they keep the corridor actually fairly well lit. And peeking in through the door frame, you're able to hear sort of a low, consistent tone, like almost like a sort of consistent mechanical tone, maybe. Doesn't sound like something natural. And you see on your right a wooden door leading to another room. And a little farther down the hall is an opening, door sized, but there's no door there, just an open passage. And then on the end of the hallway, there's another door. So there's one on the right, a door on the right, then an opening, and then another door. So three more rooms you could go into. and then the hallway turns to the left at the end of the hall.
Should we split up?
Yes. Let's split up.
We don't hear any.
Just
Other
the
than the tone.
Just the noise. Yeah, the tone is the only thing you can hear as of right now.
Graven?
I'll go through. Who wants to come through the right door with me?
I think we should stick to our normal teams then.
Well, Safira is a bit low on health. Perhaps I should be nearby in case she needs to be healed.
You wanna come with us?
I don't mind coming with you.
Orba
So-
sees that
You
everybody.
guys trying to be quiet as you pass through this area?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make stealth checks.
Which door are you guys going to?
The first one on the
To the
right.
right.
Me too.
Orba sees everybody starting to mosey further away from her, and she gets a little unsettled and climbs through the
Great.
hole and
Climb through. and
gets
get
up to everybody.
Sure.
22.
20.
Wow.
So quiet.
11.
Okay. I mean, you guys are moving pretty quietly, sort of well through the area. You sort of manage to push the door open, and it doesn't squeak as it opens. You make your way to the door, and just before we head to their room, where you guys headed?
We're going to the left. We'll meet you back here, and we'll check out the center passage together.
Okay.
So we're going.
To the archway?
I looked at Tiefling, and I looked at Orba, and I say, Tiefling, and I point to the door on the left. The right door.
Door on the right, opening on the right, door straight ahead, and then the hallway turns to the left.
Oh.
Jesus.
So you're going
so
to the
4
opening.
choices really.
So you're going to the opening.
Let's go to the other door. I'm gonna go to the other door.
Sure, on the end of the hall.
The end of it. It's 2 doors, 2 passageways, basically.
Yeah, basically,
Great.
yeah.
So yeah, let's.
Be careful sneaking past the open door. Just make sure that
Yeah,
nobody's
I sort of point to the other door and say, Tiefling.
after you.
Okay, and so you make stealth checks as well.
Stay
too.
alert.
Fuck.
8.
16.
8 and 16. Okay, you guys make your way down. There's a little bit of this stone has a little bit of noise to it. You hear the boots kind of clacking against the stone, but it's fairly quiet. Like, unless someone was listening very closely, they wouldn't hear you move by. So as you guys enter into the door on the immediate right, there's no sound or light emanating from it, and you're still holding the thing, I'm assuming, right? So you walk in, and the light pours in from your source, and it seems to be a study. There's a desk, there's a couple shelves, there's a chair behind the desk, there's an unlit lamp up on the wall. And given the sparseness of the space, it seems like a room that was either used very little or was packed up very recently. There's nothing on the shelves, except for there's a scale on the desk, like you would measure out sort of very fine measurements, perhaps, dusts or rocks, something, very small.
Is it small enough for me to take with me?
You could, yeah,
Bring it
if
up.
you wanted to throw it.
Put that in my bag.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of empty glass jars on the shelf and a broom leaning up in the corner.
Do you think this was a school for magic?
Perhaps. Either abandoned or forced to evacuate.
Seems like a secret school if it was one.
Anything in the desk?
Make an
Let me
investigation.
check.
Hold the femur over there, over her head.
18.
18. So you're able to look around, and there's nothing in the desk. The drawers have been cleaned out; they're empty. But you sort of look down underneath, and there's a tuft of black silk fibers caught on like a splinter on the desk. It seems like someone walked by, and a piece of clothing tore off. So it's a black fibers of a robe or perhaps a piece of footwear or pants.
Someone must have been here though.
Looks like someone left in a hurry.
Anything we would recognize? Any,
It's just,
just black fabric?
some silk.
I'll
It
keep
looks
it
like
in my
silk,
pouch.
but
Can I just look at the shelf and just do like kind of a once over, see if there's
sure.
anything?
Yeah, I mean the shelf. You don't even the shelves. There's only a few of them, and there's a couple empty glass jars. Other than that, they're.
Is there
They're
any
pitch clean.
traces? Can I like open?
Yeah, make an investigation check. To see if anything like spilled on it.
Yeah, no, I just want to see if there's any traces, if it was powder
Mhm.
or like
Yeah, go
something. 24.
24. Yeah, there isn't powders, but there's a number of rings on the wood where it looks like jars were sitting there, and it collected some dust. So when they picked up the jars, there's sort of a circle of non-dust area, but you don't see any materials or anything like that. But it does look like
Okay.
someone, whatever was on the shelves, someone took them all except for the empty ones.
Okay.
Them empty jars might be of use. Take like a couple of, maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3
Sure. Right
small
down.
empty.
3 empty jars.
Yeah, 3 empty jars.
You can take
Never know when you might need them.
What color was it?
the piece of clothing. It was a black silk fabric. And as they're looking through the room,
And is that a like rather nice like
yeah, it could be a
It would
nice
be
one.
like
Yeah,
a-
it looks
yeah.
like it could be something from a nice piece
a
of clothing.
fancy yeah.
And as they're rummaging through the room, you guys walk, and as you head towards the door at the end of the hall, you can see to your right, and the opening to the right is some kind of supply closet, maybe. It doesn't go in very deep. It goes in like 5-10 feet, maybe. And there's shelves that line 3 sides. So you go in, it's like a walk-in closet almost. There's shelves on 3 sides. And there's a few small items that remain that you can take if you like. There's like 12 to 15 pieces of chalk.
Delicious.
There's a couple of empty flasks, like hip flasks.
Mm-hmm.
2 flasks that are sort of more bulbous shaped, and they're filled with oil that you would like refill an oil lamp, lanterns, or it could be used for something else. But
Okay.
a number of blank pieces of parchment, 8 pieces of parchment.
Mm-hmm.
A set of manacles, shackles,
Kinky.
fur lined.
What was the first thing we found?
Chalk.
Some chalk, a
Chalk.
bunch of pieces of chalk, yeah.
How many pieces of chalk?
12 to 15.
Yeah, 15, we'll say 15 pieces of chalk. Just make sure that you're both not saying that you have.
Correct.
all.
Yeah, I'm
we're
just
gonna
writing down
we're
what
gonna
it is.
split it up.
Yeah,
He looks over and he's like,
So the
Yeah,
Actually,
One for
Eleven.
you, one for me, one for you.
and the
one
you
for me.
break the 15 piece in half.
7.5 for everyone.
So two oil lamp flasks, 2 empty like hip flasks,
8 pieces of paper.
8 pieces of paper.
Set of manacles, shackles.
Great.
And then 1 vial of some kind of liquid.
What color is it?
It's sort of a greenish liquid. Yeah, you're not there.
I look to Orba and does this look like anything to you?
Why don't you both make a nature check?
Ooh.
nature calls.
11.
4.
You think you don't know for sure, but you think it looks like an antitoxin, like you buy in a shop.
Okay.
That if you drank it, it would give you sort of resistance or protection from poisons or something.
Split the hip flasks,
Okay.
1 each. Split the oil lamp, 1 each.
Okay.
You guys in the other room can kind of hear the clean
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they're like gathering some.
Wonder what
Would you
they're
like the
doing over
shackles?
there.
Cleaning up in there.
To put you in, sure, yeah. She takes them. Can I have the paper?
Yes, you can take all the paper.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You guys all right down there?
You take the shackles.
Sort of negates the sneaking if you yell
take,
between rooms.
you want the chalk as well for drawings? For your drawings?
Okay.
And this is simultaneous, so right now you guys are
Yeah.
gathering things.
Um,
You're
yeah.
looking at the
Okay,
piece
sorry.
of clothing.
I'll take the
This is all
liquid.
happening simultaneously.
Go ahead.
Great. That's all that we can find?
That's all that you see in that storage area.
So then now let's proceed.
Great. So you move towards the end of the hall. The door is ajar, and it's dark and it's quiet, and you don't have the light source with you. So right
dark
now,
vision, 60 feet.
great. You have so you both
can
have
we?
dark vision.
Are there any torches that we can
There's
grab?
lamps on the wall. You can grab one off the wall. Yeah, they're like oil
Why don't
lamps.
we peek in before we
let's peek in.
give a light source?
Let's peek
As
in.
long as you both have dark vision.
Yeah, I know.
Good. So why don't you peek in? I'll go grab a light source while she's peeking.
Oh, I gotta go peek in. Okay.
So you approach the end of the hall, and it's before you reach for the doorknob.
Yes.
You can look around the corner
I
to
would
the
love
left.
to look around the corner.
And the corridor extends another 25, 30 feet forward before 4 steps lead up into maybe a larger room. You can see another room that's well lit at the end of this hallway.
Okay.
And there's doors on either side.
On top of the stairs or
No.
beneath?
Before you get to the staircase, there's a door on the left and a door on the right.
Okay.
Opposite each other.
Okay. None of them are any of them like opened, cracked, anything?
Both of those ones are shut. Both of them are shut doors.
Okay. And I'm sorry, is our door shut? The
It's
one at
like
the end of the hall?
ajar.
It's slightly ajar.
and there's no
Okay.
light in it.
Great.
The only light, I mean, the hallway that you came from was lit, and then the room at the end of the hallway, peeking around the corner, is lit. The other rooms are dark, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
While I'm grabbing the thing, I'm looking in the room.
Orba just slips her boots off and holds them in her hand as she like
Sure.
pitters up to the door and peeks.
You push open the door, and immediately it looks like maybe sleeping quarters. There's a couple of bunk beds, headboards resting up against the far wall, and at the foot of each bunk bed is some kind of unlocked storage chest that someone might have stored, personal belongings or clothing.
Bunks with trunks.
Bunks with trunks. And then there's a cheaply constructed vanity mirror sort of at the right side wall, and an unlit oil lamp on the desk where the vanity sort of is there, that area.
Okay.
And there's a simple kind of wooden bucket sitting next to the side of the vanity.
Okay.
Safe to enter, Tiefling.
Doesn't appear to be anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I give him a wave, and
Just
I
move forward. The two of you
slither in.
So I push the door open above her. I'm holding the.
Makes a
the
very
light.
quiet kind of creak noise as nothing. So you can see the beds are unmade. There's the chests, the vanity. Are you guys looking at something in particular?
Can I look through one of the chests or all the
You go to
chests?
you look at the chests at the end of the bed. There's multiple pairs of dirty leather gloves. Seems like someone was handling something, and they're sort of stained, sort of black and blue. And
Can't
a
tell
couple
what
of
it's
them-
stained with. Does it look like the ink from outside?
It
we
looks
saw on
like
the bench?
it looks like a similar color. You don't know what it's from, but black and blue kind of inks maybe that the gloves have been stained by.
Can we maybe
Yeah,
back out?
because they grab stuff from the thing, so you guys saw them kind of going into the room at the end.
Let's go to meet
Yeah.
the friends.
Well, yeah, we'll slowly
We're
come
just
up
gonna
behind them.
kind of
Yeah.
like sneakily.
Same stealth check. You guys were pretty stealthy, so you make your way into the hallway, and then now you guys are all in that
In the quarters.
sleeping quarters area. Yeah, great.
Anything should we know about?
Anything on the vanity?
It's empty as far as the drawers and things, but the bucket next to it, as you get closer to it, you can look in, and it seems like it's filled a couple inches thick with what appear to be filings and small pieces of fingernails. Like someone was filing fingernails there, and a couple bigger pieces that may have been filed off.
Human?
You can't tell.
This black and green. Anyone know what those ink stains would be from?
Could be anything.
The ink stains are on the gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the pairs of gloves, yeah.
That reminds me of something. The handprint on a piece of paper.
Well, the handprint was red, wasn't
Was it?
Just
it? Like on
Yeah.
the paper that I
think
have a
it's
handprint. I think it.
I think yours was, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Doesn't,
yeah.
I mean,
I think it's some sort of chemical.
it's not covered in ink like the whole thing.
Oh,
Like, it
okay.
didn't look
It's
like
not
it was
like it
dipped in. No,
looks
there's
like
like
it was-
stains, patches, like something dripped on it.
Are the beds the beds are unmade? They look like they were sort of slept in. Do they look like they were slept in recently? Are they?
Maybe it's hard to tell
Can
that,
I
but
start lifting up mattresses
Yeah,
and
you
just
lift
see
them
if there's
up.
anything?
sort of they're sort of cheap mattresses, kind of very thin and kind of floppy, but you don't see anything underneath the mattresses. Nothing hidden underneath there.
Anyone take a look at these nail clippings in here? Kind of gross if you ask me, but they're kind of large as
So,
well.
can I have one of your jars?
Yes.
I'm just gonna take the jar and like scoop some of the nail clippings and
Yeah.
just
Two
Sure.
jars.
take it in.
Was there anything other than the beds and the trunks and the vanity?
Nope. And as far as you can tell in here, that's it.
Where's like the entrance to the?
You can't tell because you came in through
We came
a
in through
hole
a
in
hole.
the wall. Yeah, so you have not seen an exit to the outside. As far as you
Sorry.
can
So
tell.
when we went around the corner to the left,
Mhm.
there was then two doors.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we went into one of them.
No, you went into the door at the end of the hall, but if you had turned left
didn't go
instead,
left, yeah.
you
We
had
didn't
gone
go
left.
left.
There's another
Okay.
hallway with
Yes.
We went in the
Got it.
first door, they
Yep.
went in the closet, and then we're in the back door.
Yeah,
I thought,
So-
I thought we had
That's
like
correct,
seen everything.
The-
So as far as you know, potentially 3 more rooms you have not been in.
And-
2 doors to the side and 1 at the end of the hall.
Anything of note in behind your door?
Nothing.
There was a piece of cloth though. Got hooked onto a
Looks like it could have been a part of a
cloak.
fancy robe or a cloak. Someone left in a hurry and it got caught on the desk as they were trying to leave.
We saw 2 more doors at the end of the hallway and one much larger room. We should.
Someone
those
was
two
definitely
doors
here
again.
recently.
Very recently.
I think we should continue on.
Yeah, I'm holding a light, so
The
I'll.
lamps was
You got 2 light sources now.
Okay.
Graven's got one too, and you have an
Yeah,
oil
so-
lamp.
To the
Gesture
left.
to Graven to walk forward with me
Yeah.
down the hallways.
Keep investigating.
You two lead the way, Erland and
Yeah, carefully and
Okay.
quietly.
carefully move forward. And it only takes you, 10, 15 feet for the door on the left seems the same as the other doors. It's closed, but just a sort of basic wooden door. The door on the right is noticeably more solid, sort of well constructed. The wood is darker and it has like no give to it. The other doors kind of seem like they're creaking or flimsy a little bit, sort of simple doors. This one seems very well built and solid. And it seals like almost perfectly with the floor, the ceiling, and the wall. So you can't see any light coming through it or anything. And there's a symbol that you don't recognize etched into the wood on this door. And are you following them close behind?
Mm-hmm.
Make an Arcana check.
11.
11. You're able to recognize this as a glyph of warding.
Okay.
It's a spell that can be triggered in some way if it's on an object. In this case, possibly if you open the door, it could be placed on a chest, and if you open the chest, something happens. So it has a spell trapped inside it. You don't know what it is. And if
This
you trigger,
etching?
yeah, this sort of symbol, and if you trigger it, something will happen. It could be a fireball. It could be,
Oh, okay.
it has a spell basically waiting for someone to trigger the effects.
Can I see if the door has any locking mechanism on it? Just out of
There is
curiosity.
a doorknob. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm looking.
Is it if someone tries to open it, the spell will be released?
You don't know that for sure, but that's possible, yes.
Or
There's something that triggers the effects of the spell. As of right now, it has not triggered.
But we don't know there's a spell.
Orba does.
Yeah.
She was able to identify the
Orba kind of gets on her tippy toes a little bit and reaches her shoulders up and is like, please nobody touch this door.
Why?
If you open it, something bad might happen. Some kind of spell will be triggered, possibly, and I don't think it'll be good. If anything, maybe we can open it up when we're farther away from it with one of my spells, but at the moment, please nobody touch this door.
Why don't we investigate
Can I
what's through here
Open
first?
the door behind me.
I look at that door.
the door on the opposite
The
side.
door on
of
the
the
opposite side of the hall.
Door seems fairly regular. Same as the doors you went through to go to the other rooms.
Well, yes, by all means, you can open that one.
You also, the door that had the symbol on it, the sort of seems louder coming from there. The whirring kind of
Oh, okay.
mechanism seems to be a little louder. The door's pretty solid, so it muffles
Nobody's
some of the
touched
sound.
that door.
Nobody
right?
has touched the door yet. No.
I'm going to very carefully open the seemingly safe door.
You push open the seemingly safe door. And it opens up into what appears to be a mess hall. There's a central table with 4 stools, some cupboards that are open and seem to be bare. There's a cauldron in the corner that's not heated or nothing's cooking in it or anything, but it seems like a dining kind of area.
They may have left hastily, but they were thorough. They must have had time to evacuate.
Well, they were living here, they were sleeping here, they were eating here, there was a lecture hall.
They knew something was coming.
I think they produced what was coming.
There's also that auditorium was very bizarre. That we entered into.
Yeah.
That is where the hole in the wall was created as well.
It's perhaps where the undead they punched outwards, not inwards. If you catch my meaning.
Maybe they made those creatures and didn't realize what would happen with them.
Or maybe did realise what would happen with them and tried to get out before they were caught.
Is there anything in the cauldron? Can I walk over to the cauldron? Is there anything?
It's empty.
Empty.
Everything's empty.
Should we?
Well, but would you know how to deactivate that door if you tried?
You might be able to tell by looking very closely what spell might be trapped in it, but you might not be able to tell how to disarm it.
I would like to try and see what spell.
Sure. You take a really close look. You take a minute to really sort of investigate the etchings and things. Make another Arcana check.
Okay. Orba puts her finger up and scowls.
Actually, make an investigation check because you're really sort of looking for.
Okay, that's a 12.
12. It seems like the runes and the etchings, it might release a curse if you were to trigger it somehow.
What does that mean?
A curse could be a number of things. It might, slow you down. It could harm you. A curse could be a many
And
number of things.
theoretically, if something were to open this door that wasn't a breathing organism, like, how would that curse be directed?
It could be an area, it could be that it affects anything within an area of 10 feet, 20 feet. You don't know for sure.
But it
depends on
wouldn't
what's
have
trapped inside.
it wouldn't have a way of like heat missiling us, right? Like it can't just come out and find us.
As far as you know, no. Unless it released a creature, but you don't think.
I think that whoever was here was thorough enough to take everything of import with them. We should, until we know exactly what this is, we should leave this alone. We don't even know where we are. We should find out what this place is.
There's a much larger room directly to the left.
Yeah.
Let's go in that direction,
Please.
and at least get away from the door, and then we can make decisions on the magic scary door.
If there's any other evidence of what it is, yes.
There
So
might
you
be
guys kind of in the
information.
mess hall right now? Or you're kind of
We're
in the
still
hallway?
out. I think we're still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think at the doorway of the mess hall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at the other
Can
door.
it's how far away is the room at the sort of the larger room?
Another 20 feet maybe down the hall. It's not far.
Great.
Up the stairs a little bit.
Hold the lantern up and gesture to everyone to move quietly towards the larger.
Great. You move forward a little bit and you start to hear a little bit of, a little bit of sputtering.
Oh boy.
And,
Does anyone else hear that?
It sounds like somebody's hurt.
and you move up, and the chamber is wider than most of the rooms. Seems like it opens up larger than any of the other rooms you've seen. And a large glyphed circle is carved into the ground on the far side. Seems like you've seen something like this before. And in the back corner, there's a ladder that leads up a narrow shaft. Like it sort of disappears upward. And the air is a little smoky. It's kind of thicker up near the ceiling, sort of gathered up near the ceiling. There's a sort of smell of maybe burnt hair of some kind. It's not overwhelming. It didn't seem like it happened recently, but it's sort of a wafting, lingering smell. And as you move up a couple more steps, you see a man lying, bleeding on the floor, just about on his last breath, judging by you see the life leaving his eyes. Looks mostly human, but he has this long, metallic silver hair, like silver, really reflective hair. It drapes messily over his face and across the ground as the blood kind of pools near his head. And there's a figure kneeling above him, facing away from you. A heavy dose of balding has left only tufts of hair on the sides of his head. And he has a brown robe, no decoration at all, very simple brown robe. Loose sleeves obscuring most of his body, except for a pair of, seems like aged, wrinkled hands. One of them poking out from the left side is holding a dagger that has blood on it. And the other one holding a potion bottle that's uncorked, and it's empty. And he stays perfectly still, kneeling right there next to the man on the floor.
His back is to
His
us.
back is to you, yeah.
I'm gonna take my longbow out and point it
Okay.
at him.
Hold. And I say, so that the old man can hear me, I say, well, first I actually whisper to you, if he moves an inch,
I release my bow.
I say, sir?
Are you in front here? The two
You
of
had the
you
light.
are basically at the staircase?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was
Yeah.
Graven.
Yeah, I was up front with her.
So it's Graven, Erland, but Safira kind of right behind them
Yeah.
with the bow?
Yeah.
Great.
And I say, we have a bow trained on your back. If you so much as flinch, we fire.
No response. No movement.
Turn around very slowly with your hands in the air.
And you see a little bit of movement, and he doesn't drop the dagger, but he stands slowly, and he has the dagger kind of pointing down in his hand, and he turns it in his hand so it's facing up, but he doesn't drop it, and he doesn't turn around.
I'll ask you one more time. Turn and drop your weapon.
No response.
Who are you?
Nothing.
Can
I really wanted to shoot him, but I know it's such a bad idea.
Shouldn't have at his feet.
Can the guy on the ground, is he conscious?
He's like he's almost.
Where's his hand with the dagger?
He's stood up and he's sort of got his hand by his left side. He's got the empty potion bottle in the other hand.
Can I shoot at the dagger?
You'd have to hit his hand. Yeah.
Well, can I like try to shoot it out of his hand? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna try to shoot it out of his
Right.
hand.
So she looses the arrow.
Wastes an arrow.
Make an attack roll.
It's gonna be very accurate.
God. Okay. 10. Oh, where is this again?
Attack?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bottom right, yeah.
For your longbow, yeah.
Oh, okay, 17.
17. So the arrow, and it goes through the hand, and it sort of turns into dust, and it sort of goes up his arm, and the whole body starts to disintegrate into dust. It seems like it might have been an illusion. And stepping out from the side, a man comes out and stabs Erland, who's standing there at the edge of the staircase. 19 to hit.
19 hits.
19 hits. You
That's a
take
bad idea.
That's a lot of
11 piercing damage.
Oh gosh.
As the dagger, he pulls it out, and immediately at that, he takes out his hand, and you see this man who just appeared. There was sort of a shimmering that now solidifies. It looks like he might have drunk an invisibility potion, and now that he's come out of invisibility, he opens his hand and blows dust out, and it creates this sort of shimmering wall right where the staircase led up to the other room, and it sort of creates this wall in front of him, and the other sort of image of the man has disappeared. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, where's the wall? Is the wall behind from where
In front of you. No, so it's now between you. So he stuck you, pulled it out, and blew the wall. So now it's between you and him.
Oh.
Well, the very first thing I'm gonna do is drink my healing potion. I clutch the wound,
Sure,
I
yeah.
fall to the ground, and I get my healing potion out of my bag.
And he blows the dust, and the wall appears, and he immediately turns around and starts moving towards the circle on the ground.
Did we get a good look at him at all?
No, hooded, sort of hood over his face, and he only sort of went down and moved around. He's wearing the exact same thing, so it seemed like he created an illusion of himself, and now he's turned around and moved towards the teleportation circle, and there's this wall in front of you.
As I'm on the ground, I say, try and get him. I'll take care of myself.
Can I just kind of like try to swipe at the wall?
Sure, you touch the
to
wall. It
see-
seems like it's like hard. It's like hard. It's solidified there.
How far away
Can
is?
we get around it?
No, it has sealed off where the staircase went up, like basically the entrance into this area.
Can
and
I
he's
run up to
kneeled
the
down at the
dying
circle.
man?
He's on the other side of the
No,
wall.
it's not-
Oh, he's on the other
He's
side.
in the room.
Never mind.
How far away is he near the teleportation circle from
Yeah.
the staircase?
Oh, how far
from
is
me?
the circle?
Yeah.
It's like 30 feet.
Can he hear us through the wall?
You don't know. You
Sir!
Through
He's running.
through Orba's knowledge of how teleportation circles work, is there a way to like disfigure the sigil to render it inactive
You
or
can
anything?
try to damage it, yeah.
Can I can still see through the wall also, right?
Yep, it's like a clear wall.
All right, Orba runs up to
Almost
the
like a
wall.
hard plastic, like a plexiglass or something.
And oh god, quickly casts Mage Hand and like peeks through the wall to see if she can find just anything that the hand can grab to like.
Sure, you go to cast Mage Hand and you pick a spot where it appears correctly.
Yes.
You do that and you're looking at the spot where it appears, but it appears in front of the wall on your side. It seems like you
Oh,
can't
no.
cast it on the other side of the wall.
Is
It's blocking any magic from passing through it.
the wall is literally going all the way across? Like
Yep,
Yeah.
there's no
Even-
gaps.
Can't get
It's
around.
all the way around.
It touches the stone walls on either side. And at this point, he's touched a few of the sigils around the circle.
Take note of exactly how I'm paying attention to.
Sure, make a
exactly-
perception check. You're trying to see what sigils he's touching.
Exactly,
Sure,
like
yeah.
his pattern or
Yeah, make a
whatever.
perception check.
18.
18. Okay, so you can kind of tell he does it in almost if there's 12 faces of like a clock face, like from 12 all the way back around. He touches like a 1 o'clock, and then a 6 o'clock, and then a 9 o'clock, and then he reaches back up towards 1 o'clock.
Okay.
As far as you've seen so far.
And literally just like like palming each one.
Yeah, he's like touching it, and then like for a second, and then he touches the one behind him, and then
This
touches.
is on the floor. And
Yep,
doing
it's on,
it
he's
around
kneeling
him.
down
Okay.
on the floor. He's in the middle of the circle, touching the other parts of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to. There's like lamps and stuff, lanterns in that room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to just. Sorry.
In the room
That he's
that he's in. Yep.
booping his things. I'm just gonna cast thaumaturgy and put out all of the lights.
Great.
Oh.
The lights go out. The
It works?
thaumaturgy seems to
Thaumaturgy
go
works?
through. Yeah.
What else can I do?
Stranger, we only come looking for the beasts that attacked us.
He touches another 6 o'clock.
Wait, slow
We're
down.
not going to hurt you. We just need an explanation.
We want to know where we are. What is this place?
And he touches 9 o'clock. And as he does that, a shimmering portal opens up. It's sort of in front of him, and it sort of opens and who's closest to this wall right now?
I
I
think.
mean, I was trying to yell at him through it. I would,
Sure, make a
Yeah.
perception check then. Make another one. So for
12.
12. The portal opens, and you can't see a lot, but it seems to be a beach on the other side.
Beautiful.
Can
Not a beach I recognize.
Nothing, no.
Just
No.
a beach.
Can thaumaturgy like crack the wood in the floor or
Doesn't
anything?
have the power to do that, no.
What is the surface of the floor?
It's stone. The whole
It's
place is stone,
stone.
yeah. It's like, it's
Are
been
you a wizard,
constructed.
sir?
Doesn't respond to you. And now he steps through the portal, and it closes.
Does
Wall
the
still
wall
in
go
front of
away?
us?
Yep, the wall disappears.
Okay.
Um,
Quickly run over to the thing and
Okay.
see if there's any the sigil.
The teleportation
The
circle?
teleportation
Bleeding
circle.
on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah, Orba runs over to Erland and just pats him on the head because she can't tell.
Did you take the healing potion?
No, I'm like holding it, and I was,
Oh,
about,
okay.
to, I was about to say to Graven, I was like, "Can you heal me? Do what you need to do first, and then heal me."
Okay.
All right, he's run over to the circle.
Yeah, I've run
and
over to the circle to see if there's any if there's anything glowing still.
It seems like the ones that he touched are glowing, the sort of 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're glowing sort of a whitish, like a bright white, and they're dimming now.
Can
now
I
that the portal is.
try to touch them in the
You can.
same way that I just watched him
Yep.
do it?
Nothing happens.
Can I run over to Erland and just like strip some of the cloak off and like tie it around the wound?
Yeah, you sort of make a makeshift tourniquet. Doesn't heal you any, but it
yes.
feels good.
Friendship +5.
From before, when you guys saw the teleportation circle in the other underneath the fountain, way back when, Orba had some knowledge of it, and there is materials required.
Yeah.
It doesn't just open up based on touching
Can I
it.
run up to the man who's dying?
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead.
He's very dead now.
Can
I-
But you can.
Can I kind of look through his things? Like, what is he
Yeah,
wearing?
make an investigation check.
Okay.
Yeah. He's wearing. It looks like he's wearing fairly expensive clothes, but now sort of stained with blood. There's a few tears and rips in them.
15.
15. You find a signet ring, like a ring that would be used. People would use it to stamp their sort of sigil to
Yeah,
identify
yeah,
themselves. And it has an elegant letter L on the sigil ring.
Can I take it off his?
Yep. So pull it off, man.
I go back over to Erland once I see that there's not much I can do with the circle. Forgive me. I was just trying to
It's all
see
right.
if I could find out any more information.
Quickly.
Where did he get you?
I point to my side.
Okay.
I can't really speak. I'm losing.
Spit some blood
Spit
up.
some blood out.
Just kind of look into your eyes and hold on to each one of your sides very firmly and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
I run up to Orba.
Sure, just let him roll.
Sorry. It's
okay.
HP equal to 1d8 plus spellcasting ability,
Which is 2, I think.
which is 2. Oh, that's attack.
Yeah, it's your proficiency.
Proficiency bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure. So 1d8, did I just say? I'm all over the place. 9.
So you feel the sort of energy rush back into you as he holds on to you.
How's
I
that?
stand up and I shake Graven's hand like with 2 hands. And I say, "I'm forever in your debt, my friend."
Welcome.
So I run up to Orba because she's just standing there. Or
I was
what do you-
patting him on the
Oh,
head,
right.
but yes.
You guys have sort of convalesced around Erland, except for Safira, who's looking at the sort of dead man's
Do you
body.
know how to get down there? Open it up.
No.
Graven has
You know
the
it's a
code.
spell, but you can't do it yourself.
I'm not well known in the spell. I don't know how to do it. I know that you need things. I know that you need materials. That's about it. I don't know the spell.
Can I kind of undress the guy and take his cloak?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
It's torn a little bit, but it's nice. I mean,
Yeah.
his clothes were nice, yeah.
Turn my attention to that guy. We definitely don't recognize him.
Nothing you tell
He's
me.
not wearing any colors or
Nothing that
symbols or
identifies.
Can I look
anything.
at
Except
how
for the sigil ring.
Can I see
Yeah.
how he died? Like, did he die from a dagger wound?
Yeah, he's bleeding. It seems like a couple stab wounds
Okay.
seem to be the cause of death.
When he's
I
fully
looked
dead,
down at
right?
my side and looked
He's fully dead,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I looked down at my side and
Look at the dead guy and say, I recognize those stab wounds.
Is the dagger that the guy was using to kill him on the floor?
He took it with him through the portal.
other than the teleportation thing and the dead guy, now that it
Have a
seems
moment,
have
yeah.
a moment, is there anything else in the room that is of note?
Just as I mentioned, in the corner there's a ladder heading up.
Yeah.
And it goes through like a narrow
But-
shaft.
But what kind of room is it? Is what kind of room is it?
It seemed like it was for the purpose of the teleportation. There isn't much else in the room, but it seemed like people pass through here through the portal.
If we can't get down there, should we just go up?
I have a necromancy cantrip. Spare the dying. Touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. Is that something that I could do?
He's
to that?
0 hit points. Is usually unconscious or something. He's dead.
He's
Yeah.
deceased. Okay, never mind.
He is
Just take a look at him like.
You raise your hand. Not gonna bother. Not worth the time.
Now that I can't believe I'm going to say this, but now that we're further away from the door, Orba, would you
Oh,
like to try to open
Yes,
it?
the door. I recommend everybody go stand near the ladder, please.
Orba, if it's a spell that casts out within a certain radius, then you can't be near the door. Can you use...
I can cast my mage hand. I'll be 30 feet away. Just if things start going south and she turns to Graven, will you be able to help me?
I think so. I don't have any spell slots. I can't cure you, but I could.
I'm gonna before I, because I guess we're all near each other still. I'm gonna give the tiefling my healing potion and say, I want this back.
For when I don't have to use
Should
it,
she-
right?
Correct.
I
Well,
could
that-
also try shooting my arrow at the door.
I don't know if you're going to be able to turn. What kind of handle is the doorknob?
It's a fairly standard doorknob.
Is it a knob or like a?
It's a knob.
But if the spell activates when something attacks it, or if anything's near it, then we'll know.
I think it might only trigger if we
We could
open it.
try.
I mean,
Touch it.
or just open the door. I think it's like not pressure plate, but I think it's something similar to that. But you're welcome to try. I mean, it's just the cost of an arrow. You can go pick it up later, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so from where I am now, can I see the door?
Yeah, if you stand at the sort of edge of the
And
hallway,
And how
at
far
the
are we
top
away
of the
from
stair.
it?
15, 20 feet.
Okay, so I'm gonna...
Uh,
can we back up?
Erland is going to the bottom of that ladder and has a hand
Oh,
on
then
it.
I'll actually join you at the ladder.
That's
at
like
this
the
point.
farthest point.
yeah, Orba will go there too while
Okay.
she does this.
I
Okay, I'm
pick
gonna
up the
back up.
halfling and put her above.
Given the angle of the hallway, it'd be hard to be more than 30 feet away, because the farther you get away,
Then
the
the more
it
I have
becomes
to
very difficult
bend
to
it like
This is a
Beckham.
good
Okay.
idea. I don't think it's a good idea. What are you
Well, otherwise
firing
what
an
else?
arrow at it? I can only see negative effect. what would the positive be? You
Well,
pierce the door
we
with an
activate the
arrow,
spell and then we're able to go through the door.
but an arrow.
Well, if her mage hand could activate it,
Yes,
By
that's
opening
different.
it,
That's by
though.
trying to open it, not by trying to pierce it with metal or wood.
what do you think?
We should stay. If
I
Orba
think we
can
should
stay
stick to
far,
the spell.
If Orba can stay
Use the
30 feet
hand.
back, we'll try that. I can mend if something cracks. I can try to. If the door seems like it's going to burst or something, I may be able to put it back together.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, can we see up to what's above us?
It gets dark. It goes up, and you'd have to go up a little ways.
Can we do this quickly? It's a little bit glary up there.
Quick question about my warding flare.
Mhm.
Interpose divine light between myself and an attacking enemy. I say the door turns into an attacking enemy of some kind. If I'm like right by and next to, in front of, behind Orba, could I kind of like?
I think it has to be you. So
It's just
if
me.
you were the one that it attacked, yes, you could use that. Otherwise, if it fired something at her, you can't use that.
I can't. I'll stay close by. I'll stay right behind you.
I'm gonna take my
I don't know if we
arrow and
should.
just like have it ready, just in case anything comes out of the door.
I don't think there's anything in there. It's the door itself that's the danger.
We heard the noise though.
That was from.
I mean, it's
No, there was
behind the
a
door.
There was a-
I
It's,
doubt
it's louder
my arrow
behind the.
couldn't
It's
do any
over.
damage against magic, but I'd still like to be able to, just on the off chance that anyone runs out of there.
It's up to you, Orba.
I want
You're
to
the
know
one
what's
taking the
behind
risk.
there.
All right, if you're willing to take the risk, I'll be close by.
Orba shoes. Everybody away.
Okay, everyone's sort of hovering around the ladder in the corner.
I'll stay right. I'm gonna stay right behind you.
Are you behind her, in front of her? Where are you
Right
standing?
behind.
Behind me.
Right behind her. Yeah.
30 feet. I'm 30 feet back.
Sure.
And I'm kind of like on my toes, like about to turn away from the door, like ready to run as soon as the door opens with the mage hand.
Mhm.
Like I'll drop the spell, whatevs, I don't care. So, all right, she holds the crystal, casts mage hand in front of the door, and has the mage hand try the doorknob.
Okay. And you hear it, and it opens, and you hear kind of a gasp, almost like a, and this sort of wave of energy comes out, and it's heading towards Orba. This sort
Get
of
close to the ground, Orba.
slow moving sort of wave of energy.
Slow moving?
Yeah, it's kind of like this, like it's moving out from the door. This sort of
Like a mist.
yeah, like a mist. Yeah.
Can I cast thaumaturgy and gust it toward the other side of the hallway?
Sure, you thaumaturgy, and it, but then it moves back towards you again. It's only slightly delays it.
I grab you and kind of put you behind me a little bit.
Get to the ground.
He pulls Orba behind him.
Yeah,
and the
push you
mist
behind
kind
me.
of, and it touches you, and instantly you feel this like a weight, almost like it's pulling at you, and you feel it kind of sink into your skin, and you feel the effects of a curse. And write down all dexterity-based checks you have disadvantage on while you're cursed, and you feel it kind of sink into you, and you feel sluggish as you're kind of holding the shield and your mace in your hand. But it does seem to only go into Graven, and then it has
Orba starts shaking him and
Say that again,
Graven?
all dexterity.
any dexterity-based check,
Yeah.
like stealth, acrobatics, any of those, you have
Disadvantage.
disadvantage until you get rid of the curse.
Okay.
Graven?
I'm all right. I just feel a little heavy. Heavier than normal. I'm okay. It hasn't affected my mind at all. Just my motion.
Erland releases, so lets go of the ladder and moves over to join these three.
If he's
Orba,
been
like,
cursed, we should find a way to treat it quickly.
You guys look into his eyes, and the irises are like a little grayer around the edges of his eyes. Like they just look. He's sort of identifiably has a curse if someone knew what they were looking at.
Or but how long could these last?
I don't know. Would I know that kind of a thing? Like just a
You don't know specifically this
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
We spoke to that woman knew of a healer in town. We can visit him when we leave. Let's investigate the room. We did this for a reason.
Orba
Let's check.
goes in to hug him and then stops for a second and then bows her head and heads toward the door.
Okay.
Erland goes after Orba.
I'll follow Erland.
Okay. The three of them start to move.
I'll just wait here for now.
Graven.
I'm gonna stay.
Graven starts to move, but it's very slow.
You guys let me know. Fine.
Great. Okay, so you guys make your way towards the door, and it has opened a little bit. The mage hand did turn the knob, and it's opened a little bit.
Carefully and slowly now. I'd like to not be stabbed again.
I'm just gonna move like in front of Graven, just to kind of like, if you want to slowly, like, creep behind
Put all
me.
of my weight on you for a second.
Yeah, and
Like,
just,
oh.
like, because I want to kind of make my way up there, but I want to continue to shield you.
I mean, I'll be fine. If you want to go, go.
I don't want to leave you
Well,
alone.
I don't want to move too much. I need to just steady myself.
As they're
a little
talking, you three are moving.
Yeah.
Who's going up to the door?
Well, you were first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. You walk up to the door. You place a hand on it. And
Careful.
start to push, and it's heavy. You have to put 2 hands on it, and it sort of slides across the bottom. And as you start to peek in, that's where we're going to take our dinner.
Oh my god!
Because we ran a little overtime.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh
So
my
think about that.
sweet lord.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 15 minutes, and we'll figure out what's behind the cursed door. We'll take a look.
Oh my
Thanks,
god!
guys. We'll be right back.
Crazy.
Welcome back. Back from our break. Everybody settle in. You've gone over to the glyphed door. Now the curse has been released. You push the door open. And it opens into a small, slightly larger than a closet-sized room. And you hear that kind of humming machinery get louder now that you push the door open. And as you open the door the whole way, there seems to be this kind of apparatus or machinery, and there's a pipe about 3 or 4 inches in diameter that's going down into the ground. Someone's drilled a hole into the ground, and this pipe is feeding down into the ground. You can't really tell how deep it disappears down into a hole. And there's a glass cylinder that the pipe is attached to on the other end. In the room, there's a glass cylinder. And the machinery's still humming. It has this kind of loud purring sound, but the cylinder is empty. Seems that whatever was being siphoned through the pipe seems to be
This is
done.
the same machinery that we saw.
In the underneath the fountain.
Underneath the
the
fountain.
cylinder looks very similar. It didn't have a pipe attached to it. It wasn't like drilling anything into the
Okay.
ground.
Yes,
But
I remember that that cylinder had like sort of a dissipating smoke in it. There doesn't seem to be any trace of.
no, it might have been empty for some time now.
But that's all that's in the room.
That's all that's in the room. Just the machine. There's a large lever next to the glass cylinder, and that's all that's in the room. That's in here. And as you're in here, it's kind of loud. It has this kind of like rattling noise.
Is the pipe see-through?
Yeah, you
Okay.
could, if there was anything in it, you could see it. It has like little brass couplers that hold lengths of glass pipe that are going
Okay.
down. into
Oh,
the
so
ground.
the pipe is also glass.
Yeah, the pipe's glass. Or some kind of see-through here.
Okay.
Can I investigate the machine?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Can I take a like?
What are you looking at?
I want to like. I want to like. What is it doing? Like, what's the?
Sure, yeah.
It's right. It's like it's sort of in between the glass cylinder and the glass pipe, right?
Yeah, so the glass pipe comes up out of the ground and
Yeah.
then feeds into the glass cylinder.
And the machine is sort of in between the two, or where's the machine at?
It's next to the glass cylinder.
Oh,
Like
okay.
there seems to be some kind of rotating gears or something. It's sort of operating in some
Can
way.
I see what it's doing? Like
the
machine.
Yeah. The gears are kind of turning, and it seems like there's sort of a plunging sort of up and down with as the gears are turning. So it seems like whatever was in this jar is being pumped through the
Okay.
glass pipe.
Okay.
Whatever was in the jar, the machine was turning, and it's
into the ground.
into the ground, yeah, or possibly up from the ground, but
Is there any residue or like?
not that you can see inside the cylinder or the pipe.
And should I pull the lever?
Oh God.
I apparently don't learn from my mistakes.
You know what? At this
I
point.
think right now, have you come join them? Right now, it's
Three.
Erland, Beezaura, and
Yes, us
Orba.
three.
You're with Graven back in the other
Yeah,
room.
I was with Graven. I kind of think can I run ahead because he said
Yeah.
leave
Sure,
me.
you can come up. Just make sure you
So
come up to join them.
I just kind of walk to the doorway and like put one hand on the doorway and just look in to see.
Sure.
There's no etchings on the wall.
There's nothing but this thing.
Just the machine.
do we like if I look at the lever, can I see anything that it connects to?
Yeah, it connects to the gears and the pump. I mean, it doesn't seem to
And
be.
the gears are moving. Is that
Yeah,
what's
right
making
now
the
the gears.
sound?
Yeah, that's what's. Yeah, the gears
But
are.
nothing's coming out of it.
No.
Any ink
I
on the
imagine-
lever?
I imagine if you pull the lever, it'll stop the gears. It looks like almost the switch that turns it on or off.
Shall I try? We've come this far. Our friend's already cursed, it seems.
I'm just gonna pull though.
Oh.
Alright, she walks up.
Erland dives backwards and she does.
Fear's like pushes her way out the way. And you take it. It takes a little bit of force, but you're able to. And you hear the gears sort of slow, and then they eventually stop. The machine comes to a stop. Silent. now.
See, nothing to be afraid of.
Let's
Yes.
perhaps wait a minute, see if any smoke appears in the cylinder. Like, builds up. If it was pumping out, perhaps something will build back up.
Just gonna stare at the cylinder.
You wait a moment. Nothing seems to happen inside.
And the sound stopped.
The sound has stopped. Yeah, the sound seemed to be coming from the machinery.
There seems to be the same circumstances that we found with the fountain. The
Yes.
same sort of machinery.
What are the odds that
Transportation circle.
the man who just went through the transportation circle was the man we were looking for?
There's at least a man, or maybe one of the men or people who were sleeping here, listening to lectures, by whom, I'm not sure.
Well, if he was sleeping here, who's the guy that's dead on the floor?
I don't think that someone wearing such nice clothing would choose to sleep underground.
The guy dead on the floor?
People of means have things to hide as well.
I don't see that being a reason.
Why was he killed?
If I were to guess, the people living down here, and perhaps we should check with the head librarian, the people living down here were turned into these undead. And
Could be.
And fought their way out, and that's when we encountered them with the end keg, perhaps.
It's possible.
We still haven't we haven't exited this place to see like, oh, we come out and it's a hole in the ground, or we come out and it's this
The
random
only
building.
way out from this area is back the way you came, or up the ladder that you could tell, that you've seen.
And the ladder led to a.
It goes up and it's dark. I mean, you'd have to climb up it to see where it
So-
is.
Well, you know what we could do? We have a very well-accomplished wizard waiting for us to report back to him. I'm sure he would be very curious and have his own educated opinions.
We could bring him back down here.
The head of the library, the head of the...
Yeah, it's possible.
He might know what's happening.
He might know what the green and black is.
Everyone stand back for a minute, and I take hold of the lever.
You gonna turn it again?
Why not? And I look around. I swat the air next to me to make sure there's no one hiding. Then I push the lever.
And it slowly starts to, and the kind of the gears start to turn and the plunger moves. Seems to go back to the state that it was in when you.
Could it be a clear gas?
Last time it was a blue liquid, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like a blue
Smoke.
vapor.
Yeah, like a vapor. Yeah.
Well, my question is it putting blue vapor into the ground or is it being sourced out from the ground?
I don't know.
I mean, this doesn't connect to anything else. It looks like it must be putting it in.
There's no like breakages in the glass that we can tell.
I mean, you can see into it. It doesn't look like it's cracked.
it
at
doesn't
all.
look like it's cracked.
Is it a part that you can remove? Like the
Which
cylinder?
part?
Can you remove the cylinder?
It's like with a banded sort of copper iron coil. I mean, you could like wrench it off or whack at it with something, but the cylinder's large. It's big and
So, and if we follow sort of the pipes that lead to the cylinder, can we see where they...
it's just the cylinder and then the pipe going down into the ground.
If they were farming this, there would be other. They would be siphoning it off and putting it into other containers. They must have brought this container to put the whatever it was into the ground.
This was a mine. This was a mine we were in, right? Like
No, the grotto was
The
like sort of a crypt area.
it was a crypt.
Yeah,
Okay.
the rich people, the rich part of town would bury the dead there, but then it became sort of a not good neighborhood, and they
Yeah.
began to live there, sort of in the crypt. And yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't a mine.
We should find the administrator.
I agree.
know what we
I still
found?
want to see what's up
We should
through that ladder.
yeah, we should head up the ladder and hopefully that
Can
will
I
take
head up
us.
the ladder? I have dark vision, so can I
Oh,
go
wow,
up the
so we're
ladder?
I'll go behind her.
And just kind of, I just want to look and see if I can see what's up
Yeah,
there.
you
This is
start-
back in the other room, right?
This is back in the room with the
Yes.
transportation circle. Yeah. So
Also
you
leave it back there.
grab and you You start to climb up the ladder, and it's dark a little ways, but you get up, and you can see a hatch above you. There is like a wooden hatch that's blocking the way. You'd have to...
Can I put my ear against?
Yeah, make a
that?
perception check, yeah.
12.
12. You hear some muffled voices. Can't tell what they're saying.
I'm just gonna kind of put my elbow and just so I can make a little sound. See if
You
it
like
makes
hitting
it.
the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do like a... And it makes sort of a wooden thumping sound,
Mhm.
and the voices stop.
What's going on up there?
I maybe shouldn't have drawn attention to it. I could have just. That's so dumb.
Safira.
Hang on. I'm just gonna keep my ear against it and wait for them to stop noticing it.
You put your ear up to it, and you start to hear like a...
Oh no! I'm gonna duck down.
They're not opening it.
They're trying to cover it.
They're covering it.
You hear dragging.
Quickly,
Like a-
quickly, open it up.
Open it.
And as you hit it, it hits, and it seems like something's already been pulled over the cover.
Safira!
Oh god.
Can't be so cautious all the time.
Graven, do you think you... Oh, you're cursed. Do you
I'm
think you could...
strong, but I could try.
Graven. So can Graven kind of use me as a battering ram?
Well,
The area's a little
ladder,
cramped.
like-
It would
Can
be
I
Yeah,
use
so
my
we
flail
hold on
to try to
and
like
push.
wedge it open?
You could. Flails, remember, it's like a ball on the end of a chain.
Oh.
I'll give it a go. Like,
So it has to come down.
It's
It's
very
only big
small.
enough for one person to...
Exactly,
Yes,
yeah.
she comes
We
all the way
all
down.
go down.
Yeah, everyone moves back down.
yeah,
Graven heads
on
up.
top and hold. Somebody hold my mace and
I
shield.
got it.
Sure, hand them across the
I'll
table.
take the shield.
One hand
Whoa.
firmly on the top rung, and then the other like in the forearm, and
Sure, make a strength check. Just a straight strength check.
That doesn't occur.
Come on, be strong.
So whatever that
Just
roll
straight
is,
strength. Your modifier, yeah.
10.
10. So you give it a good...
disadvantaged.
No, that's for
dexterity.
dexterity.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So you give it a good like...
Full strength.
And you can hear and feel the top of it buckle. It splinters a little bit, kind of... But as soon as you get through it, you hit another hard surface that doesn't budge. So you've cracked the hatch, but whatever's above it, you weren't able to dislodge it, yeah.
It's too heavy. I can't get through.
Can you tell what kind of material it is?
It's hard.
That's not helpful.
It seems like a solid wood that you, but
If it's
much
wood,
harder.
it can burn.
A very thick, stout wood.
Would my weapon do any difference?
I mean, you could crack it. I mean, you can hit it and crack it, but
So if I'm Leah,
Can I try?
sure. I mean, he has to come down. Graven.
Switch off, take him.
Shield.
Even if we do get through this, we don't want whatever this heavy thing is coming down on top of us. We can leave the way we came.
We can use a shield.
I'm getting out of the way. Come down.
It's way
I
down.
want to get
No
through
ladder.
here.
Okay.
Try, little one.
So it's pretty cramped, but you can make a swing up, sort of cracking at it. Make an attack roll with your weapon, like a regular d20.
I'm not gonna do it. 9.
9. I mean, you swing it up, and you can hear it kind of, and it hits the wood, but it doesn't make much of a dent in it. I mean, whatever's up there is solid.
Orba takes out the one of the little flasks of oil that they found and goes, "We could light it on fire."
Yes!
She shouts up at
I
the...
think that's a great idea.
And
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a
in
bow.
this underground lair where we could be trapped.
Well, you said yourself there's another exit. We could always just leave if something happens.
That's true.
I don't know. You all just seem... I'm just trying to help.
Let me try something first, perhaps.
Oh, well.
Are you still up there?
Yes.
Okay, I climb. I'm behind her, and I start yelling, "Friends, we're in great danger. We need help. I'm bleeding very badly, friends."
Yeah, you don't hear a response. You don't hear any footsteps either. It seems like they might have...
Your lies won't get you out of
Erland,
this.
you're not quite the actor.
I thought that was pretty good.
I'm gonna pull a bow out of my quiver and say, "Can you light this on fire?"
I am hastily climbing down the ladder.
We can use it as sort of a flaming knife.
Here's
Only
my idea.
if we
Yes.
have a relay of the 5 of us back to that entrance and make sure that
Well-
there's nothing where we first came in, because I don't want to get trapped down here.
Oh.
Have one of us in this room, one in the hallway, one in the first room that we came into.
Fine.
I want to know that we can dash
Yeah.
out of here.
I think that's a good idea. Who wants to go?
I'm
there?
already moving slowly.
I'm gonna very stealthily walk to the end of the hallway where where the closets and stuff were.
Sure.
I'll be at the doorway of this room. Is
Like
that
where the
too
staircase
close?
is, yeah, up to the, yeah. I mean,
Orba will like shove
Oh,
past
that-
him
can
and
I
Put
take
some
your
oil
oil?
on the tip.
there you go.
sure.
I'm gonna take.
Dip it in the
oil.
flask of oil, or
I'm gonna
yeah.
dip it in the
Hey.
oil and then I'm gonna kind of climb up the ladder to the extent that I can and just kind of smear the
Sure,
surface
yeah.
of the.
With a little bit of
deck,
effort, you
the
kind of have
whatever
to
is,
dab it
oil.
on something to wipe.
Yeah,
because
I
it's
can
up.
kind of-
Yeah, that's okay.
Dab it on my old cloak.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
stole it.
You smear it around a little bit. Yeah.
Do
So
I
it has a sort of thick, sort of oily smell that sort of now filled the shaft.
do I see anyone down the sort of corridor from where we came from the battle? All clear. All clear.
I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, can I make fire?
Yeah, I think you have some cantrips or something.
I
Like
mean,
burning
the
hands or
sacred
something?
flame.
Or burning
hands is an evocation.
Is it a cantrip or a level 1 though?
It says first level
Oh,
evocation.
first level. So that would take a spell slot.
Yeah, I don't have any spell slots. The sacred flame is a cantrip.
Does that do fire? Just I
Flame
think that's
like radiance?
radiant
Well-
damage. Yeah, that wouldn't light it on fire.
There's torches
Aren't there
around here.
torches?
right?
Torches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
can I walk?
There's lamps. Yes.
Can I walk up to
If you don't need me, I'd like to be closer to the exit because I'm moving slowly already. So
Sure, I
somebody
think that's a
swap
good
with me.
idea.
I'll swap
Um,
with you.
Thank you.
Can I hold it up to the fire? Does it light?
You're
Like-
holding
like
the
the
arrow up
lamp?
to yeah,
Yeah.
the sort of edge of the arrow. Yeah, it starts to burn quickly.
So I'm underneath it, like I'm kind of as far back. No, I don't want to be directly under the ladder if that's possible.
The
Do you
but
know?
you're trying to stick it where the hatch
No,
was.
I'm
though?
trying to. I'm gonna shoot it
Oh, you're gonna shoot it up.
up,
Got it.
but
yeah.
I don't want to be right underneath where like burning detritus could fall.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could fire it and kind of back up after you
Okay.
fire. Yeah.
Yes, play
So
with
I'm
the
gonna
fire safely,
go
please.
under there and kind of fire it.
And then fires
And
up,
then
and it's
get
not that far
away.
away, so you're able to. And it sticks up there. It starts to smolder a little bit. Kind of catches on fire. There's a little bit of fire. The sort of shaft starts to fill with smoke a little bit. It's hard. It's getting
I'm
very
gonna-
hard to see.
Yeah.
Yep. And you
I
cover your
kinda
mouth. Sort of
cover.
the chamber. A little bit of smoke coming in, and it's burning as far as you can tell.
Might take a minute.
Was the ladder made of wood?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I'll catch you if you fall.
Well, I'm not on the
Nobody's
ladder.
on the
Oh.
ladder right now, but we won't be able to
Has the ladder caught fire?
I mean, right now it's still sort of spreading. How much time are you waiting? Right, it's sort of it has stuck up into whatever the wood surface is, and it's right now just. I guess the ladder has not yet caught fire.
Because, well, we could always just get the wood to be weakened. We don't have to wait for it to burn up into nothingness, and then we could try to bash stuff in after that.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true.
Can I like take my sickle and kind of like?
You have to climb
You'd
up
have
the
to
ladder a
climb
little
up.
bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it's up a little ways.
No, I don't want to.
And sorry, what's the height of the ladder? The peak height?
It goes about 25 feet up.
Can I
before
pull the ladder down?
It's
It's
connected.
Why
yeah, it's
would we wanna
connected.
pull it
You have to pull it
down?
down in
I
sections.
just kind of want to take the ladder.
Can I just
Why?
cast Thaumaturgy, a big gust of wind, to see if I can extinguish the fire now?
Sure. Yeah. You walk up to and like a big, and the air kind of pushes the smoke down as it sort of pushes up, and the whole kind of chamber fills up with like a black kind of sooty smoke. Yeah, it sounds just
Sorry.
Orba.
good work, everyone.
Is the fire out?
But yeah, it dissipates. The fire goes out.
I want to try to swing my flail again.
Okay, now try.
Okay. Make your way up the ladder. It seems like the top bits of the ladder have been singed, but it's staying steady. for
I'm the
time
lightest
being.
one, so.
Yep.
Stop.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
What's the total?
What'd you get?
6.
I mean, you're hitting a stationary object. You are able to sort of swing it up, and it bursts a few pieces of like what, like it crashes through, and the hatch part of it, like a few wood splinters fall down on you where it sort of broke apart, and it seems to go up, and it punches a decent bit up through the wood. I mean, you kind of because it's on like a chain and then a ball,
Yeah.
the ball gets stuck up there, like it crashes through whatever the wood was, and you could yank it. And you pull it, and it some sort of splinters falls down on you through the thing. You look up, and it seems like there's part of something still covering it, but it has broken through at least the bottom layer of it.
Graven, do you? Oh, he doesn't have any strength.
I have
He has
plenty of strength.
Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Graven, do you think you could
Push on it again, like an ox.
go through the hole? Put your hand through the hole.
Go through the hole.
Put your hand
Come
through the
down.
Beezaura climbs down. And as Graven starts to climb the ladder, it starts to buckle a little bit. The ladder's weakened a bit, and his heavy.
Can I stand kind of behind?
Yeah, you can kind of hold
We
it
all
on.
we all steady them.
I'm at the other end of the hallway still.
And I was like, what's going on?
I was like,
And once again, I try to.
Sure, give me one more
shoulder
strength
up.
check. Yeah.
Come on, Graven.
6.
6. So you go to bash it, and it again, more of the wood kind of splinters, and you're able to look up in, and it looks like they might have covered it with like a dresser or something. Like you can see up, and there is like more. It's a hollow wood area, but with very solid wood. It could be a chest or a dresser or something that you punched up into now.
I've walked down the hallway to see what these guys
Now you're curious.
Can the little one fit
Hit it
through?
again.
I mean, you can keep whacking. Yeah, I mean, you're able to get. You could. The hole's not big that you've punched through, but you could stick your head up into
Could
it.
a
Can I
halfling
squeeze
fit
through?
through?
Yeah.
I'll give it one more good punch to get a good hole
Sure.
for it.
Yeah, you give it one more point.
Oh.
13.
So you, and a big nice, you're able to pull a piece of it down, and it kind of cracks off.
I'll go in.
I'm coming back down. You're welcome.
So stupid.
A lot of time has passed. As
Yeah. Seriously, yeah.
But Beezaura makes her way up, and you're able to crawl into this space, and it seems like it was a large trunk or chest that they covered this with, and so there's like a lid area.
So just her head or her whole body?
She can fit like her shoulders are up through it. Yeah, you could stick your hands up through it.
Seems to be a sign of a trunk or a chest.
Do you hear anything?
I wanted to
up
say
there?
chest, but I started to say trunk.
Yes, little one. Have you heard anything?
Do you hear anyone?
Give me a minute.
Make a perception check.
We made enough noise.
just completely.
What time of day is it right now?
I mean, it was like evening when you left
Yeah,
for the
it's
grotto,
like-
so it's probably
It's like-
2 in the
it's
morning.
night. Yeah, I mean it's like at least
9.
midnight. 9. You can hear a door close. You hear like a.
I just heard someone. I think they ran away. Somewhere else up here, though.
Can you open the chest quietly?
She sticks her hand up, pushes against it. Seems like it's locked
Oh,
on the outside.
there's a lock on it.
Is it made of wood?
I mean, the chest is mostly wood. There's some banded metal, kind of keeping it together.
Mostly what I see. I could try to break it off.
Should we keep burning it?
Should we keep going?
This chest is
Is the arrow still hot?
I can light another.
Yeah, good.
Oh my goodness.
But you're gonna want to get down before I do that.
I would have to singe it with my own hand. Like bring the arrow
She
and
could carry it out.
carry the arrow.
Alright, alright. I'll dip one of my arrows in the oil again, light it in the lamp, and then kind of careful hand it up.
I got
Go
it.
up, hand it to her. She kind of reaches down, pulls it, this lit arrow up, and you're sticking it sort of into the chest. It begins to burn.
Wait, get out of there!
Some smoke starts to fill up the chest.
You're not gonna be able to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, it's very smoky in here.
Beezaura, get out of the chest!
Back down
Beezaura, come down!
before you die.
I'm cinching it.
No, go!
No,
you're gonna
it
save
is
yourself!
engulfed in
Yeah, the
flame.
smoke's filling up the chest. I mean,
Well, I thought I was picking the lock with it.
no, you're burning the chest.
Oh, I'm just burning the chest.
The lock's on the outside of the chest. You can't access the lock from it.
Oh, okay.
I'm burning.
Okay, I'm coming.
She heads right down. I mean, you see
my
the smoke
God.
and a little bit of flame filling up above you, and
Well, whoever's up there, we've certainly alerted them to our presence.
It's not quite a secret now, I don't think.
No, not really. But
No.
I still really want to know what's in that room.
Give it a minute to clear out.
It really starts to burn, smoke coming back down the shaft. I mean, you give it a couple minutes.
I look to Orba and just
Yeah.
look at her.
She goes,
Once it clears a bit, I'll go back in.
Oh gosh.
Once the wood.
Perhaps you should extinguish it,
Maybe
Tiefling.
extinguish.
oh, that's what the look was for. Well,
Yes.
maybe next time, Erland, since you like talking so much, use your words. She goes over.
Oh, that's a burn.
I think-
No pun intended.
She probably has to like hoist herself on the ladder a little just to get closer to it, and she casts a big gust. Hold your breath.
You see a big sort of whoosh, swooshing wind and splinters go flying. I mean, it opens up. I mean, it blows sort of a hole in the chest, and the flame goes out.
Now somebody else go up.
Can I
there.
kind of scurry up there?
Sure,
ladder?
yeah. I can't keep track of who's on top
So
of the
she
ladder.
She came back.
She came down.
72 hours later.
We've been here for
Yeah, so
long.
Safira's gone up and
You're welcome.
Can I look around? What kind of space?
yeah, I
am
mean, you
in?
push like some of the charred pieces of wood out of the way, and it seems like a regular home. Like you seem to be on like the first level of a house. You see a couple dressers, a bed. It's somebody's home. That you don't know where you are.
What's up there?
It's definitely.
Can I kind of call back down to the hole? It's someone's house.
I'm coming up.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you coming up into it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I stand up into the?
That seems like I'd follow as well.
Orba will.
I'll wait. Let's wait down here, Orba.
Okay.
This
Do
would
we
be a
burn
bit
a
of a
fence?
shock. to
Orba
whoever
takes
lives
out the
here.
piece of chalk and just starts drawing a tic-tac-toe grid and hands it to Erland or Graven.
You guys move up into the house. You guys step out of this. This sort of corner of the house is all charred and sort of pieces of chest and wood.
Very, very quietly, I say, this could be Willard's house. He did tell us that he had a secret stash in the basement.
Nobody. Oh.
You're play tic-tac-toe.
The basement.
I'm just saying, we should be quiet. We might know the person, we might not.
That's gonna be a shock. Although they knew we were down there, and they decided to. You would
what,
think they would have left their house. I certainly would have.
what room is it? Is it like
It
bedroom?
looks like a
Is it-
bedroom.
It's
Yeah.
a bedroom. Are there
Can
are there
we
books? Are there
search?
pictures?
Can
Are
I
there-
open
It
that
seems
chest?
extru-
Or is it
the
all
chest
burned?
is toast. I mean, you were on the inside of it, so there was nothing in it that you could tell. You came up through the bottom of the chest because the chest had been dragged over the.
I
hatch.
thought we moved. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's this. There's no decoration, no bedding at all. The house looks like it's brand new or not lived in.
There's a door.
Yeah, there's
Can
a
we tell?
couple-
Is it like a nice house?
Maybe, yeah. It doesn't look shabby. It doesn't
Should we
look
try the
ornate.
doors?
Yeah.
Willing
sure.
to bet
Can
it's
I,
locked.
Can I walk up to the?
There's a door coming out.
carefully.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Open it up. Kind of opens up into another room, like a parlor room, but again, very sparsely decorated. There's a couch and a fireplace, a couple of windows.
Follow her in.
Sure.
Can I walk? I want to see like, where I don't know, like if anyone's here and where
Sure.
the door is. I
Sure.
want to know where this house
Yeah,
is.
make a perception check. Yeah.
Gosh, one.
I mean, as far as you can tell, you don't hear or see any people.
Okay, but I can't tell much.
Are there any other doors in this parlor?
Yeah, it goes. There's another door out the other side.
I go to the other door and I very carefully open that
You
door.
open that door and it opens up into like a foyer area. You can see a door that's like a more solid door. It seems to be leading out, and there's a small seating area.
Is there windows there?
Yep, there's windows.
Can I-
You can see out.
Can I? What's outside?
You
You
can
see
see.
outside?
Yeah, you can
What's
see the
outside?
streets outside, and based on the sort of coloring of the houses and some of the people milling about, it seems like you're in the Rose District, like the nice district of town.
Graven, Orba, get up here. We can see the outside. We can see the outside. It's nice.
Can I?
Are you guys coming out?
Can I call down to them?
Yeah.
I am calling down to
Yeah,
them.
Beezaura's
Yeah.
also there.
Yeah.
You guys are both standing over like this hole in the ground that's
Yeah.
What are you
burned.
waiting for?
Graven, Orba, it's a house. We're in the Rose District. If you come up,
Whose
we can.
house?
We don't know. Just get up here.
All right.
You.
What is
Orba!
You said it's leading outside, right?
it? Yes.
You can
And-
see the outside, but yes.
And you also said that people were just up there. Do you think that they would probably linger to see who's leaving their house that hasn't been invited in, and therefore would be able to identify us later?
It doesn't seem.
It
like
doesn't
they
matter.
What do you
We
mean it
were-
doesn't matter?
We were
Doesn't
sent
matter.
down here to kill the Uncade.
Yes, but Graven, would you like to?
I would like to.
Would
If
you
you
like
can
to
tell
explain?
where this house is situated, we can come back here and not from the inside, as Orba said.
Do I see anyone outside the window?
Is
There's people
Is
passing
there
by
like
in
a
the streets.
is there like
yeah,
a
I mean,
house number or something? Is there like an address?
Oh, we
for
can
this
see
place?
like
We're
where
still
we
inside,
are in the
but-
district.
Yeah.
I mean, you look like you're in the road. There's people passing by outside the way. It seems like a house.
Is
If
there
we want to go down through where we came
Yes.
from, come back up, then
Yes.
walk around to the Rose
Well,
District
Yes.
to see exactly where we are.
While
Absolutely.
they're yelling
I
at the
understand.
tunnel, Erland very just opens the door
Opens
calmly
the front door.
as if he owns the place and
Sure.
exits the
Fine.
house.
What did I just say? I just went through the whole procedure.
Is anyone outside?
Is anyone
Like, do I walk outside and
Nobody pays you much mind. You walk out of a house. You seem. I mean, a couple people look at you as you walk by, but nobody seems to be paying particular
Erland, is there a
attention to
number
you.
on the house?
There is. It's 22A.
I call back in and I say, friends, seems safe.
God.
I'm not. I actually might have to side with Graven on this one. I'm not sure we should be seen exiting this house.
Erland has been seen exiting
Well,
the house.
good
Well-
for him. I'm not going out that
Can
way.
I?
You do not have to go together.
Can I go out a different way? Can I choose to?
You can look around the house. Yeah. That isn't back down. You want to look around.
Right. I don't
Okay.
want to walk out the front door.
Sure.
I'm going to sneak out the window into the bush and roll.
I mean, you're in the bed. You can.
I
look
don't
in the
want
window.
to be seen walking out, but I will sneak out through the
Oh,
side.
you do want to see me seen rolling out the window.
Are you
No,
jumping out the window?
I'm gonna go out the window into the bushes and then crawl out so no one actually sees me just flouncing outside.
Make an acrobatics check. You lift the window up and you kind of leap
Yes.
out.
Make
No.
a flouncing check.
Flouncing, bouncing bushes check.
20.
That's it. Great, yeah. She opens the window and she jumps out and she tucks and rolls and kind of and she pops out on the other side of the bush and no one seems
Casually
to.
walks up like
Yeah.
I've been just walking around.
Yeah.
I've closed the front door so as to not arouse suspicion. And I'm in the street with
You
the
guys
people.
are out in the
Can
streets of the
I go
woods.
the same way that she went?
Yeah, the window's open.
Flounce.
Are you attempting to do it
So-
sneakily, like subtly, like
Yeah,
she is? Sure,
subtly.
make an acrobatics check.
Flouncing.
Dude, we're still down at the
Mhm.
bottom.
20.
Oh yeah, I'm.
Right, yeah, you no problem. You jump out the window and you kind of the bushes just kind of,
See?
and the two of you pop out.
And I
You
just-
brush off a couple
yeah.
leaves off the side, and I mean, the streets aren't terribly crowded. There's a few people passing, but nobody pays you much mind.
We made it to the Rose District.
We did.
Where did they go?
So we can go back down to Orba and Graven, who are still down.
Well, I know you're not feeling very sneaky.
Yeah, not at all.
So why don't you and I go back and discuss things with Fusar?
Yeah, try to find the healer. What was the place that the elf
Touch
lady
and
told me
go.
about?
Touch and go.
Touch and go, yeah.
It might be closed at this time of night.
It's
but
very late at night. I mean, there were a couple people milling about, but it's dark out.
But-
It's night.
Find some place to
There's some
rest.
lamps, like people's lamps they're carrying around. But
Well, we have the keys to our inn, so
Yes.
why don't we go back the way we came?
If they
we
want to
should have
find us,
discussed
I'm
a
sure
place to meet.
they can find us back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I beat you in tic-tac-toe, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't know how one cheats at tic-tac. We've somehow managed it.
you guys start to make your way back towards out through the tunnels. I mean, we'll go to the three of you now who are outside in the Rose District.
You don't happen. Neither of you happen to remember the name of the healer. I wonder if there's a place here that we could get buy some kind of anti-curse or something to
If
help Graven.
well, if they're still down in the tunnels, perhaps we should travel
Back towards that way so we can
back
meet
to
them.
the entrance and we'll meet them at the front
Have a
of the
bit
tunnel.
of a rest.
Does he?
And we can talk to Master Fusad while we're there as well.
Does he have a mailbox?
Outside the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of a standard mailbox. It's attached to the front door. It's like a
Can I
small-
put a... Do we have any parchment or anything? We don't.
Orba does.
Orba
You
does.
might have a scrap of something you could write on, yeah.
Can I, like, take out a scrap of something that I can write down and say, sorry about the trunk?
Sure.
And just put a gold and the little notes in
Is that
the...
really necessary?
In the...
They tried to keep us down there, you know, with said trunk.
She puts the note in with a piece of gold.
Yep.
Clink, clink.
Don't ask me when you want another pint.
So shall we proceed to the what district was that? To the to Brick Rock?
I want to stay in the rose.
You don't have to go
Oh,
with
that's
them.
right. You need a date.
I
To
just
your
think this
party.
place could offer some good information for us.
Well, I'm going to go to Brick Rock and hopefully to the library.
Well, we need to go to
That's what I'm
see
saying.
Administrator Foussard
Back
first.
to Administrative
Fine.
Facade and
As
perhaps
long as
ask
we
you don't
remember
have
how
to
we
stay
got
with-
here.
Yeah, Leah, do what you want.
What else is in the Rose District?
The only place you know of was someone mentioned Fable's Repose, which is the inn, like the fancy inn in the Rose District.
Okay.
And Willard's house is in the Rose District.
Oh, Willard.
This could be Willard's house,
It's possible.
hence the gold.
Well, I'd like to ask Administrative Facade what perhaps was down in the tunnels, and also get access to that library. There's nothing for me in the Rose
I'd
District.
sort of like to see if Jillian's finally arrived at the inn.
But what if they return to the house?
Who?
Whoever
Willard
is
here.
here.
That might be a problem.
Well, he'll find my note.
And don't they know what goes on in their basement, you think?
That's why it might be a problem.
If it's Willard, he didn't.
How do you know that?
I believed him.
It's awful lot to be keeping in a basement you don't know what's going on.
He was being paid an awful lot.
Jillian seems to be missing in action at the moment, and it seems that all of the clues and hints and all the things that happen seem to end in the library, and that means we need to talk to Administrator Foussard.
Well, I guess we could go our separate ways.
Sure. So who's heading where?
I'm going to Brick Rock.
Going back to Brick Rock?
I'm going to the inn.
You going
Ooh.
to the Dancing Clan? Back
Yeah.
to sure.
I'd like to see who returns to this place.
You're gonna stay here.
Stand sentinel
Sure.
outside their door.
I'll find a place to sleep
There's
tonight.
there's a couple benches around. I mean, you can sort of park. Are you trying to stay unseen, or are you just like?
I'd like to be slightly covered.
Okay, you can sort of. There's a couple benches. You can sit on one that's not directly outside the
Right,
house. Yeah.
right. And I don't want to be like waiting on a
Wow.
Let's say by tomorrow evening. It's evening right now, yeah.
It's like late.
Yeah.
like
So let's say by
midnight.
tomorrow at sundown, we'll meet at the Dancing Clan.
Fine.
Sundown seems a little late. Maybe we can meet
Maybe
like tomorrow
around
morning or tomorrow
noon.
afternoon.
All right, tomorrow at noon then.
Tomorrow at noon. If you're not back.
We'll consider you dead.
Oh, Jesus.
How far is the Dancing Clan from the Rose?
It's not very far. The high streets where the Dancing Clan is like the next district west. It's 15-20 minute walk, 30 maybe.
Easy.
All right.
We're close enough. Everyone stay safe.
See you at noon, friends.
Where do you think Orba and Graven will meet everyone?
I think
imagine
I'm
they'll
gonna
go
meet
back
them
to
at
the
Brick
Dancing
Rock.
Clan.
Somebody had asked them.
Yeah, we maybe next time should have.
Maybe they'll
settled
come
on-
around front of the
on a
house.
place.
Move out of there.
As they sort of each go their separate ways, Beezaura stays. We go back to Orba and Graven, making our way back through the tunnel. And as you're walking back through, now that seemingly at least some of the threats have been extinguished, you see some of the sort of poor residents now taking up residence in the tunnel again, kind of picking through some of the remains.
This is
and
in the
some-
crypt.
Yeah, you've like moved back up through past here.
Where
You
we
guys
go.
have-
Past
yeah,
here,
you're
okay.
past here. I'm assuming you're walking back towards the entrance. Yeah. So you see people sort of collecting some of the things that maybe people left behind when they were running out of these tunnels and things. And you see some of the carnage as sort of passed by, some of the dead things that you passed by. And the guard that had been separated with the acid that you tried to pick up back when you were you
Yeah.
tried to pick him up to use him as a shield, you see that he's been picked clean, like the tabard's been taken off, someone's taken his shield and his sword, like people have taken any possibly valuable belongings of any kind. And you start to breathe a little bit of fresh air again as you sort of keep moving up. You smell sort of the breath, you take a sort of deep breath in. You've sort of been breathing in smoke and soot and the kind of bad smells of underground.
And ooze from
And
cakes.
And there's very little light coming in now because it's very late at night, but there are a few people now you see at the entrance holding lamps, torches, that kinds of things. And there's a decent crowd of people, a lot of those blue and white tabards that you saw, some of the militia that had come to fight the threat down here. There's a little bit of a commotion, like sort of just general hubbub near the front exit of the grotto where you leave it.
Anybody that because we spoke to Facade when we went down there, but he's long gone.
You don't see him right now.
I go up to a grouping of them, and has there been any other trouble? We were able to dispatch the end cake.
So you walk up to like a group of soldiers, and as you're walking, you're sort of about to address someone. You hear a couple of men count down, and they go 3, 2, 1, hop, and they pick up a canvas stretcher, and across the stretcher is the body of Administrator Facade. And two of the men one of the arms hangs limply off the side to the right, and the two of them kind of make their way up from the grotto.
Wait, gentlemen.
And as you reach out to turn, a man turns to you who has the same blue and white tabard, but there's a bit of like gold trim around the edge of it that seems to denote some kind of status. And you do think you saw him when you were coming down, like you might have been at Fusard's side when you originally entered. And he, please, give the men some space, please. The threat is believed to be neutralized, but we should not relax just yet.
Is that Facade? Is that Administrator Facade? Is he all right?
I am afraid Administrator Facade did not make it. He was a very powerful wizard, but our troops were spread very thin, and he was ambushed.
By what?
Pancakes. 2 of them. From where we had already been, they punched through a tunnel in the wall. I recognize you. You came to fight, yes?
We did.
Yes. I'm sorry to tell you this news. Please, could you tell me what you found on your end?
We found a single ant keg and a few skeletons, beasts, but we dispatched them all.
There was a bit of undead on our end as well. We were able to dispatch them, but we did have many casualties, I'm sorry to say. I hope you did not suffer the same indignity.
Only a few wounds, nothing.
I'm glad to hear it.
Orba's just staring at his limp hand from the stretcher.
They're carrying him off. We knew that the Ankegs occupied the woodlands near the coastline, but they mostly keep to themselves. Rare casualties from Ankeg attacks are from cocky hunters or foolish explorers. For them to be this many under the city is unheard of in such a populated area. Something was disturbing them. But please, if there's anything you could tell me about what you found, we would like to launch a full investigation into each of the tunnels.
Down into the crypts, we found the wall. There was a hole into what could have been we couldn't tell what it was exactly, but some kind of chamber.
There was a building underground.
Yes, a structure where with sleeping quarters and a mess hall, cleaned out. Whoever was down there may have left in a hurry, but they left intentionally.
Did you find survivors?
No, there was a single dead body.
Well, we will have to investigate into this. Did you find anything that we should hang on to as evidence or clues?
No. Did you take the ring from that?
I think Safira has it.
Safira has it. Curse. No, we don't have anything anything of note from down there.
Very well. And in these rooms, these chambers, anything dangerous that we should know about? I'm going to send my men down, and I'd rather they not walk into a trap.
There's a live transportation sigil on the floor of one of these rooms. You'll also find a piece of machinery that we do not understand its real potential.
Unregistered transportation circles is a grievous offense in a large city of Antisuyu.
Unregistered, you say?
I didn't know about it. The only one that I know about is in Chupa Hall. Each city has one primary transportation circle, and we regulate them very carefully. For this reason, that someone cannot teleport in, and we don't know about it. We'll have to have that one shut down immediately, if it is as you say.
How does one shut it down?
Break it. Crack the stone, remove the sigils. We will have a trained wizard go down and make sure that it is inert.
Is this a problem that you've had of late, of unregistered circles?
I've never heard anything of the kind.
Never.
Not here in Oranchupa. I've heard of unregistered transportation circles elsewhere. If you don't mind, I'd like to discuss our findings. After we investigate, could I impose you to meet us at Chupa Hall perhaps the day after next, and we can discuss. At that time, I would also like to compensate you somewhat for your efforts in your fight.
We would appreciate that. One of our group had made a kind of hasty deal with the administrator about allowing us to the library, to the rare books.
And you see a look come over his face of a little disappointment, and I was there when he made this deal. I do not know why the library is so important to you. But let it not be said that in his death, Administrator Foussard was not a man of his word. And he reaches into his pocket, and he takes out the proof of esteem, and he holds it out. I have a word of advice. Do not use this until death of Foussard has reached the city. And he points, and there's like blood flecked on the note. And he's like, if you try to use it, you might have some uncomfortable questions. So I would give it a little bit before you go.
I understand. Know that we mean no ill will of this city or its inhabitants with our intentions.
Very well. It's not my business. As far as I know, it's just books, so you do what you like.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Polnick.
Thank you, Polnick. I don't know if we'll have any more information for you, but we will try to help if we can. Chupa Hall, you said?
Chupa Hall, day after tomorrow. Perhaps as sun is setting. Hopefully by then we will have had a full investigation into what you speak of.
Of course. All right, well,
If
thank
you
you
don't
again.
mind, I have things to tend to.
Of course.
And he turns and starts talking to the man. And right as he's sort of turning away, you've made your way over to Rick Rock Grotto, so you sort of intercept them as you guys are turning away. You see Erland coming from the other direction.
Sweet.
Hello.
You.
Cool.
Funny seeing you here.
The door was fine.
You
Who
can't possibly know who had eyes on that door.
I'll deal with it.
I'm not even thrilled to be seen with you right now out in public.
I've done much worse things since I've known you than it go through a front door, and this is what pushes you over the edge? Hello, little one. Who was that gentleman?
Polnick.
Alright, this conversation's going swimmingly. I'm assuming I saw Foussard get wheeled out.
Yeah, you might have passed
Yeah.
him on the way out.
I did see our librarian friend met his untimely demise.
Seems as though.
Did he uphold his end of the bargain beyond the grave?
I have the pass, yes.
Ah, well, something did good happen this day.
I suppose. At a cost. So,
Don't you notice other people aren't there?
we, oh yeah.
Oh.
Where are our companions? Did you left them without a word either?
Safira decided to go to the dancing clam, and the little one is hanging around the house to find a date.
Good. Maybe she can.
Or perhaps...
Maybe she can catch the people that are going to come after you after they saw you left.
Or
their
she
home.
also felt bad about breaking out of the box or some such. Either way, I was barely listening to her when she told me why, frankly. Regardless, at around noon, at noon tomorrow, we'll be meeting at the Dancing Clam. So if there's anything we need to do before then, we have 12-ish hours.
Perhaps a rest.
I wouldn't mind
I need.
sleeping. I need some rest as well.
Yeah.
We
Wait,
c-
we stay at the
we
clam, right?
Yeah. We can't go to the. Well, I found you, so I'm done what I came here for.
We're staying at the dancing clam.
That's where your rooms
Oh,
are.
yeah,
that
yeah.
you got the keys for.
Did we want to go to the library?
Not right now.
And why
It's
is
not
that?
open. Sorry.
It's the middle of the night, and Polnick told us that this show him the bringing the last writings of Administrator Facade before the news of his death reaches the city might be a little too obvious.
That's fair.
I need a rest. I don't know about you all, but
To the
It's very late in the night.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning.
late.
Great.
1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
keep my spells, yo. My spells be lacking.
back to the. Should we head to the clan?
Back to the clam.
All right.
And then I need to go to the. Is the trunk the? What's the
Touch and
trunk?
go.
Touch and go.
The trunk is the sort of general goods.
But touch and go is the.
Touch and go is the
healing.
healer.
Okay, yeah, and I'm going to need to go to touch and go, hopefully to get rid of this curse before we go on any other adventures.
All right. We'll meet Safira at the clan then.
All right. I start.
They start to make their way back, and we head back towards the Rose, where you're sort of waiting outside the house.
And I keep that past.
Graven keeps the path. And it's pretty quiet. The streets are pretty quiet. Not a lot of people passing by. Someone does walk by and gives you a polite nod as you kind of pass by. And you do see 2 figures walk up in front of the house and take a look at it. And then they turn and they walk. They keep walking down.
I follow.
Okay. You follow. You get up off the bench. Sort of make your way. And
No, I really need a rest.
the 2 of them walk, and you follow enough distance behind that it's, how close do you want to get?
I don't want them to see me yet.
Okay. So, but that likewise, you can't see them from that distance.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to see any features.
Right.
Sure. So they continue to walk, and you follow behind them. They walk for a little bit, you take a little turn, and you look, and they seem to go into a lit building that has a sign up top, Fable's Repose. The 2 of them walk in.
I'll go in. It's
Make your-
open.
Yep, you make your way to the door. You open it up. It's a very pleasant interior. It seems significantly more moneyed than the Dancing Clam. There's a number of very nice artwork on the wall, some sort of lavish lounge couches in the area. And the 2 people that you saw, you were, a good distance behind them,
Right.
so you don't see them as you enter. There's 2 staircases going up, one on the left and one on the right. It seems like a slightly larger building than the Dancing Clam. And there's 2 staircases going up. There is a woman at the front desk. There's sort of a desk area that's checking people in.
Good evening.
Ah, hello.
Morning.
Yes, it is very late.
Is your whole inn booked for the evening?
We do have a couple rooms available. They're rather expensive, but they are available. She sort of looks at your clothes. And your,
Expensive, huh?
yes.
How much would you say?
20 per night.
20. That is expensive. Since it's quite late, I'd only be here for a couple hours. Maybe we could strike a deal.
Well,
Just until the sun rises.
how many hours you say?
What is it now? 3 o'clock?
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock? I'd be up and out in 4.
Make a persuasion check.
Two.
They shouldn't hit the table.
Yeah.
She looks you over and seems like she kind of decides better of it, and she's like, "We really don't prefer less than full nights.
I see. Understand?
Perhaps you'll come back another time."
Love to. And I leave.
Okay.
And then I find a bench right outside
Okay.
and just stay there.
Sure. Great. Sit on the bench.
How much would you say the bench is, Mom? And I put my stuff down.
You can see you out the window kind of grumbling to yourself, but you can't hear you. She waves politely back. And we go back to the Knights of Clan. And there's a few patrons. Again, there's that sort of dining bar area. There's a couple people here and there. No one that you recognize.
No Safira yet?
No Roger.
Where were you
Robert.
in the area? Have you gone back to the room, or are you?
Yeah, I think I was going. Can I be sitting at the bar with some ale?
Sure. Seems like she might be on her second one by the time you guys get there.
And I think at this point I would have asked people if they've seen Jillian. Like I would have
Sure.
asked around. Has anyone seen?
As we can sort of enter into this before they've entered. Yeah. So if you want to
Okay.
ask the lady, or
Excuse me, have you
yes.
seen a woman named Jillian? Has she come in here?
and she checks her records again. No, but I believe there are some people staying in her room that's been reserved.
Yes,
Or is
I'm
that-
one of them.
Oh, yes. She has not stopped by.
Right. You no news of her? Nothing.
I'm not sure. I saw a couple of you speaking to Robert. Perhaps he would know something.
Is Robert still here?
He's not in the area. You look around, and I'm not sure where he is. He frequents the Five Sisters, which is a tavern nearby, but there's no guarantees there. It's very
It's
late.
awfully late. All right. Can I just sit down at the bar and
Sure.
have a drink?
As she, yeah,
Also, I wouldn't ask her. I'm asking you this. So how far is that place where we pawned stuff?
not very far. I mean, that's in Songotnan, which
And
is the
that's
sort of merchant
it's
district.
gonna be closed now, but
You presume so. Yeah.
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 okay. All right. I'm just gonna sit.
Sure.
Crumb
And
could be there.
that's where you guys enter in, as she's sort of sitting at the bar after.
So you guys have caught up.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't take any shortcuts.
I'm sorry. We should have told you where to meet us.
Understand.
How are you feeling?
Terrible.
Brilliant.
Slow. I definitely need a rest. I'm going up to the rooms.
Administrator Foussard is dead, but we do have the access to the library. I know.
Right.
I
that
know.
too.
How did he die?
And kegs.
Well, do you know that?
Yes.
He's a powerful wizard. For something to kill him, I would think it would have to be more powerful than just a single beast.
Did multiple Ankegs and undead.
He had people protecting him.
I only saw the body. I didn't get a chance to talk with him.
With the dead Foussard, no.
That's
Wouldn't think you'd have a chance to talk with him.
You didn't get a great look, but the body seemed
Dead.
injured in some. I mean, there's blood. I mean, it didn't look like there was no injury on him, but you don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely had injuries on the body.
Anyways,
it's very late. I'm gonna grab a bite and then go to meditate and go to sleep.
Yes, I need to sleep before I go to the healers tomorrow.
Two of them make their way up.
I want to grab can I grab like a little bite of?
Yeah, the kitchen's open late.
Quick-
You can
quick
grab a little
dinner.
something. Yeah, it's like you can get 7 silver for.
Does he have like
or
a
no,
menu?
7 copper for like an ale and a simple bowl of something.
Can I like look at what they have?
What food they
You
have available?
have a menu on there?
Yeah, I mean, late at night, it's like some sort of porridge that's available, or some simple sort of.
Bar snacks.
Yeah.
Probably eat something.
Orba hoists herself onto a bar stool and is like, I think I'll try my first ale,
Oh, cheers.
and pays for a porridge and a.
Pours you one, hands it out.
Can I get
So what
porridge
is
as
that
well?
again? I'm sorry, seven silver.
No, 5
Seven-
copper.
5
for
copper.
time.
I don't understand.
Oh, it's instead of bronze, it's copper. I wrote it wrong. Apologies.
How?
I meant to fix
How
that.
like?
Yeah, mug of
10,
ale
10,
is 4
10.
copper, and then like
So like
3 or 4 for a simple bowl of porridge or something. 4, another 3.
I'm confused.
Silver is
So-
10.
It's just 10, 10, 10.
10.
10 copper is a silver, 10 silver is a gold.
Can I get a porridge as well?
Yeah. He goes and he's got like a little small cauldron that's heated up, and he takes a scoop, but he sort of puts it in.
Cheers.
Not much, but it's hot.
I cheers Orba and look to see her reaction when she tries it for the first time.
she takes a sip and goes, And then thinks about it and then takes another sip.
I look to Safira and say in Elfish, "Sweet that one."
Adorable.
What?
And have you gone upstairs?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, great.
upstairs.
Gone up,
Slowly.
tired to the room. And we go back, as you guys are sort of wrapping up the night, we go back to Beezaura and sitting on the bench, and a man comes out of the Fable's Repose, and he seems a little bit shorter than the men you were following, and he has a broom in one hand, and he walks up and he goes, "Ah! Ah!
What do you want?
No loitering!"
It's only a couple hours. It's
And he
late.
hits you with the broom. a couple
Get
times.
off me.
You can't loiter outside Fable's Repose. It's for respectable folk.
You don't even know me.
I do by looking at you.
And who are you, Mr. Respectable?
Well, I run Fable's Repose, so what do you think that makes me?
You got a pretty mean lass working your front end there.
Don't sit on the bench. And he hits you a couple more times with the broom.
Can you make it give me 4 hours in a bed?
No!
I'll pay for it.
How much?
5 gold.
For how long?
I told her I'd be out by 6.
You take off that dirty armor, and you leave it in the lobby, and you can stay for a couple hours. But you don't go tracking all that mud upstairs. And I'm only doing this to get you off my bench.
I'll take it off, put it in my bag, and keep it in my room off the floor. Thank you, sir.
You go in.
Mom?
And she sort of... she doesn't take your name down or anything. And he sort of gives you, there's sort of a private changing room or something at the bottom that he lets you take the stuff off, put it in the bag.
One more thing, sir. You have anything to eat here?
Not at this hour.
Not a...
When the light comes up, you can go to the kitchen. Provided you're clean.
I'll be clean.
No. And he takes you upstairs, takes you up the left staircase, and when you walk, you pass by a couple rooms. You don't see anyone in the hallway. And you open up a door that's labeled 4B, and he lets you go in. It's a very nice room. He's fairly luxurious.
Very nice.
I'm going to come in here in 6 hours. And if you're not out of here, I'm going to hit you with the broom.
I'll be out at sunup, get something to eat, and leave your fine establishment, sir.
Very well. And he holds out his hand. 5 gold you give him?
5 gold.
Okay. He takes it.
Trust.
Sleep tight.
Thank you, sir.
Shuts the door behind you.
Enjoy your broom.
You don't hear anything.
Oh,
And you go in a beautiful
it's quite
room.
luxurious.
With these sort of plush, puffy red pillows on this sort of a. It has this canopy bed with this nice lace sort of hanging
Quite the
down.
princess, aren't I?
And have you guys retreated up to your rooms at this point? No? All right. A couple last thoughts as people are sort of before the night closes out.
I finish my porridge up. I finish the ale, and I suppose I'll meet Graven in one room, you two in the other.
Sure. Tiefling.
Okay.
So I go up to the room, and before I open the door so as not to wake Graven.
He's snoring pretty good. He's had a long day, Graven has.
Are we like long resting or short resting, or what's the?
Probably a long rest.
Great.
yeah.
So before I get into bed, I like put my quarterstaff down and I take time to make sure I meditate before I go to bed.
Sure.
Get my key points
Sort of a
back,
peaceful state, yeah.
and then I pack it in.
Okay. Orba and Safira, go to the other one.
Before I go before I go upstairs, I walk over to the lady doing the front desk stuff. Excuse me, is there any way I could borrow a quill to write something with?
Shoot. She's holding one. She hands you. If you need it for a moment.
Yeah, I'll just be in the booth real quick. I just have to write something.
Sure.
And I'll give it back.
Yeah.
Okay. And Orba sits down and she takes out one of her parchments. And she starts writing a letter.
Okay.
Can I read it out loud?
If you'd like to.
Okay. I pre-wrote it because I'm not good with words. So she writes, My lady, I'm writing you this letter unsure of whether I'm writing with the intention of sending or writing just out of habit. Regardless, I'll update you on the recent events of my travels. I have fallen in with a bizarre collection of skilled fighters, one of which you may know. I have yet to confirm this. They've allowed me to accompany them as they look for work. As odd as I feel consorting with such colorful creatures, I do feel grateful for their protection. As long as I'm protected, so is the item. I will also take this opportunity to boast that I helped defeat a vicious beast with my spells. You would have been proud. And she stops and crosses out proud, and she says, you would have been pleased. I've now decided that it's unwise to send such a letter, so I'll stop writing because this feels very foolish. Signed, Orba. And she goes and hands the quill. Thank you.
Can I stop on the stairs and go, Tiefling,
Mm,
what are you doing?
nothing. She folds up the letter and puts it, I'm coming, sorry.
The woman at the desk sees you kind of stuff into your bag, and there is a courier service. If you'd like to leave your letter with us, we'll take it to them.
Oh, no, that's okay. It's just a story that I wrote.
Can I hear this?
This little exchange? Sure,
Yeah.
you're standing on the stairs. Have a good night.
Good night. Coming.
I'm gonna drag myself up the stairs.
Okay.
Tired and a little drunk.
She follows.
And you all move in, pack it in for the night, you all lay down to rest, and that's where we're going to wrap it up for the evening.
I'm gonna get a good sleep tomorrow.
Yeah, you
Zara in the luxury.
Damn.
Great job.
Yeah.
Made your way through, navigated through a couple of the fights.
Lord.
We'll be back in 2 weeks to find out what happens next. See what happens at the library. See
If
what
we ever
happens-
get there.
Library of Dreams.
Maybe everyone's
If.
just dead. Thank you guys so much for joining us, those of you who are with us.
Yeah.
Please join us again anytime. And does anybody have any final notes before we close it out?
I don't think so.
All right, awesome. Great job, everybody. See you next
Good
time.
job. Bye.
Bye.